part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs, with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
It's the Yorkton Exhibition Cash Lotto, and the grand prize is $100,000. That's right, $100,000. Just think of all the possibilities. Tickets are just $100 each or 3 for $250. The big draw is December 9th, but you have to hurry. The deadline to purchase tickets is December 6th.
I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard
Secondary prizes of $1,000 and 10 prizes of $500. But wait, there's more. You can also pick up a 50-50 ticket with the purchase of a main ticket. Don't miss out. Call 1-866-783-4800 or order at YorktonExhibition.com. License number LR240045.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rmpchevrolet.com today. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Sportscage, live at Agribition. Barney Shinkaruk, Ryan Pollock, Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, joining us for a bit here. We are in the, I guess this is the soccer center. It's called the iPlex. What's it called?
Eventplex.
Eventplex. The turf is out. Dave has been in here when there's been turf in here.
Yeah.
You're amazed that they roll the whole shooting match up and they get it out of here, and then now it's a trade show.
I am shocked. Like, from this to when the Saskatchewan Roughriders held their 2 indoor practices this year, this is insane.
We got 3 hours for you. I'm going to recap last night at the Brandt Center, the bullfighting, professional bullfighting. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. I'm going to try and paint the picture of it. To be honest, it is probably one of the greatest values entertainment-wise. I don't know if I'll go back, though. That's how scared I was for these guys. It was something else. We will talk about the Memorial Cup being awarded to the Kelowna Rockets for next year in Kelowna. What is that going to mean? We're going through the CFL free agency as far as quarterbacks carousel. We'll do all that, plus some other CFL news. Hour 2, Eric Francis joins us, talk hockey. A lot to get through. He's in Detroit as the Flames get set to host or to play the Detroit Red Wings. And then tomorrow they got a quick afternoon turnaround in Columbus. I'm really curious on how NHL teams quick turn that, right? Because it's no joke. You're playing tonight. You're probably getting on the bird, flying to Columbus, getting in late. I just wanted to kind of go through how that all works for a team when they have a quick turnaround. And Farhan, Lalji in hour 3, a whole lot more. Like I said, we're at Agribition. We might have some rodeo tickets to give away for tomorrow. Rodeo starts tonight, and I think it's the free night of the rodeo.
Yeah, night 1 typically has been, and then she gets going busy on the weekend, Friday and Saturday. So
it's jammed. I don't know if there is anything that comes to the Brandt Center minus the Memorial Cup. There's been a few big concerts that packs that place like the rodeo does every November.
Yeah, I saw a week ago that the Saturday night was down to singles, I believe. So it's a popular event. It's a lot of fun, and it's high energy the whole time. You get in there and they turn the lights down and it's full go until the event's over. So
last night they hold the professional bullfighting. It's a one night only thing. So basically, we gave away tickets. We talked about it, had some video running on the cage. Bullfighter runs out. He gives the guys the okay. The music turns up, and he just dodges the bull and taps it. And the 2 guys from Spain had that side move, almost like they're holding, a sheet. They didn't. Wow. They had that move down. We saw, I think, 2 or 3. We left a little bit early. 2 or 3 flips over. They bait him to come, and then they just flipped right over the bull. One guy didn't quite make the flip, so the bull got him, and then they were in trouble. And then all the bullfighters converged to help protect them.
Wow.
It was, like I said, I was worried for each and every guy that was out there, and like edge of my seat, but cringing. And I'm like, I don't like how this could go down for these gentlemen.
So never been to an actual event on it, but have seen it on social media or on TV and that. Know what you're fully referring to. But if I understand correctly, it's not only just for the entertainment purpose of it. They actually get scored on how close they can get and how late they move. And
there was points awarded, and then there's like the buzzer goes, and then they got 20 seconds more if they want to kind of do something else.
They want to risk it for another.
That's right. 20 seconds.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
If it comes back next year, I definitely recommend people go into it once. Oh, also, I forgot to mention on this, we have the new rodeo clown that's here the next 3 days. He's joining us on the set. His name is Matt Merritt. He get one of the best in the world. I've never interviewed a rodeo clown. I'm very curious to find out the process, how it started, how many gigs he does a year.
Yeah.
Right. He is married. I did some research. I know that. So he's going to join us in hour 2 as well. Let's get into CFL talk here. And yesterday, the big news was VA signing in Calgary. First off, Dave, was that kind of old? Not, I want to say old news for you, but were you surprised or not surprised at that?
I wasn't surprised per se that he ended up in Calgary. That wasn't the surprising part to me, because I would have, from the get-go, I would have gone ahead and handicapped Calgary as being the front runner to land him, having the most need, because they clearly were not happy with their quarterback play last year. But having said that, I was somewhat surprised at first at the timing, because really the new general manager had only been on the job for 6 days when he pulls the trigger on a pretty big deal. Now he gets back 3 draft picks. They have to do some swapping and trading. And I'm like, well, geez, that doesn't seem as much of a return as you could perhaps get for him. But then you do a little more research and you find out why the timing was so important. Early January, Vernon Adams Jr. is due a huge salary bonus just for being on the roster. So quite frankly, the BC Lions said, we don't want to pay that. So we've got to move him now, and here's what our timeline is. And they felt the deal was right from Calgary, so they moved him.
Yeah, and it'd be my assumption that, teams have been probably reaching out to BC and getting feelers for how a deal could work from the time that Rourke was signed. I think the writing was on the wall when Rourke was originally signed there at midseason that a move would eventually come. BC stepped forward right away and said they're not going to do anything, and in season, I should say, they didn't really tip their hand, but
which ended up being a good move.
Yeah,
the way that Rourke struggled,
100%. Yeah, no, 100%. It usually does take 2. So they had 2 guys to at least get them to that West Division semifinal there. But I was a little bit surprised, but at the same time, not on the return. I mean, you talk about they swapped some draft picks. Arguably, it's Vernon Adams for a second rounder, quasi first rounder with the way it kind of works, the 9th overall pick in a 9-team league, which is technically this year going to be the first pick of the second round. But at the same time, and things we'll get into with later in the show with Farhan as well. But it's a buyer's market right now. There's more quarterback surplus than there is teams that are desperately looking for a number 1 guy. So they're backed into a corner, BC, having to make the move. There's only a certain amount of buyers that are even interested, but they get to unload that cap hit for sure, and they know who they're going forward with.
Dave, do you think that, and we think that there was teams, and there probably was, kicking tires and asking about it, but do you think it was really Calgary was in a bidding war? Oh, not a bidding war, but so to speak, with themselves? Do you think anyone else is really interested in it?
I'm assuming Edmonton likely reached out just to find out what the conversation was and where it would be. There was maybe some mild interest, I would suspect, from Hamilton, but clearly what we've seen since from Montreal and signing Davis Alexander, they believe that that's their guy.
Yeah.
So Montreal, they believe, are set. Ottawa's very happy with Drew Brown moving forward. So I would have assumed that maybe it was Hamilton, Edmonton, and Calgary that were kind of kicking tires, seeing what was going to be what. And the thing that I think right now is a detriment to the Edmonton Elks is there is so much fan involvement in the team wanting to retain Trey Ford. Now, I'm not an assessor of talent. I can see what he's done and how he's performed on the field, but I can't go ahead and tell you how that is going to translate further down the road because we don't have enough sample size to compare it to. But the fans want Trey Ford. And as Lauren Mulliken used to say, if you listen to the fans too long, you're going to be sitting with them. Right? So to me, I think that Edmonton's somewhat handicapped themselves in that front. So to answer your question, yes, I would say that those three teams kicked tires. Calgary came with a firm offer and the deal was done.
Oh, and what makes the Vernon Adams specific situation kind of unique as well is depending on what side of the fence you sit on, he's under contract. So you're trading for a guy that you're going to have under contract for 2 years. But at the same time, he comes with a price tag, an already pre-agreed to price tag. So you don't really have that opportunity when you talk about Saskatchewan, you talk about Edmonton, and you talk about Hamilton. They're kind of in the driver's seat in the sense of they get to make their offer now to whatever quarterback they want to consider bringing back or bringing in new. So it depends on kind of which way the direction the general manager wants to go. Could also lead to that interest ahead of time for Vernon Adams as well. But he's off the board. He's in Calgary now, and those other teams, it's up to them to make the next move.
I think we talked to Farhan a number of times, and he said Alexander's the guy in Montreal. He's going to be the guy moving forward, and that's what happens yesterday. Now, where does that leave Cody Fajardo? Do you think he stays there in a backup role? Who's kicking tires, thinking about Fajardo?
This is where the business of the Canadian Football League sometimes baffles me, because if you look at football operations, there's a hard cap, right? So if you release someone, you're still on the hook for their salary. It counts against your cap, so on and so forth. Now, already Vernon Adams Jr. is going to have a contract discussion with the Calgary Stampeders. Dave Dickinson said it in his immediate availability yesterday. Yeah, he's only one player, and we're going to have to talk to him about his contract. And I'm like, well, you just went and acquired the guy. So in the Montreal situation, Cody Fajardo, from what I've read, is due a $200,000 bonus in January. So are you willing to pay, if you're the Montreal Alouettes, a $200,000 bonus to a quarterback that you aren't committing to? Because Davis Alexander's your guy for the next 3 years. So the question becomes, if you're Cody Fajardo, somewhat you're in the driver's seat, but somewhat you're not. Because Montreal's not going to pay you that $200,000, so they'll just release you so they don't have to. But also, if you're willing to take your reduced rate to stay, then you are in the driver's seat. So to me, it's really unfortunate because he signed the deal in good faith, and at the end of the day, that deal is going to come back and kick him in the butt because he could be unemployed because nobody wants to pay that much to a guy that may not be your starting quarterback come early June when training camps break.
Yeah, that part makes it difficult to hit it bang on, but I'll provide some value from my experience here. I know might be a stretch that I'm actually going to bring anything to the table here, but so part of with the Vernon Adams conversation with his existing contract, anyone that's due an off-season bonus, most of the GMs will approach them about renegotiating due to just the way the tax structure breaks down. So I don't know specifically what he's owed. Let's call it $200,000. So they can do the math of $200,000 taxed as a roster bonus gets taxed at a higher level than a signing bonus. So you can renegotiate your contract, sign a new contract, and sign it as a signing bonus and only get taxed 15%. So now without that $200,000, maybe you sign for a $150,000 signing bonus, but because of the tax structure, you actually put more money in your pocket, and the team saves $50,000. Okay, So that would definitely be part of the discussion. But my guess is that there's some hard money negotiating there as well. So you might get a little bit more up front. The team finds a way to save some salary cap space. In the end, maybe they both win a little bit. But what makes it interesting is I don't know how it affects his guaranteed money, because his contract with BC came as year 3 guaranteed money. I don't know. The guaranteed stuff came in after I left the league. So I don't know how exactly that plays into a renegotiation. If you renegotiate, it's a new contract you've agreed to. I'm not sure on that.
And how much money aside, how much as a guy who's later in his career do you want to play? That's the other thing, right? Like, I don't know Cody Fajardo from a hole in the ground, but is he the gamer that I want to play? I want to prove Bo Levi Mitchell style, whatever. Or am I okay sitting back here? If I get a shot with Alexander, because we know in the CFL, I don't know if there's any quarterbacks that lasted all season this year.
Jake Mayer was potentially the only one that would have played all, but was sad, of course, in the Labor Day rematch.
But I think some guys, it's like any sport, right? You'll sacrifice maybe a little bit of cabbage to play and to stick it to a team. Now, I don't know if that's Fajardo, if that's in him or what.
What about, remember Anthony Calvillo? When he went to Montreal, he went behind Tracy Ham. He said, okay, I got to learn a little bit. And then he went on to a Hall of Fame career. Because he wasn't a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, when he arrived in Montreal.
Wasn't he in Vegas? Didn't he sling it for the posse?
Vegas as
And
well,
Hamilton, too, I believe.
Yeah. So if you're Cody Fajardo, you have to analyze, in my opinion, where is your opportunity? Where is your best opportunity? Because he is older than what Anthony Calvillo was. So he has to analyze, where am I going to have an opportunity to either A, play, or B, be the next man right now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's in Toronto. Hamilton behind Bo Levi Mitchell, perhaps. Winnipeg, Zach Caleros, right? Again, you're pointing here. Hey, never say never. Never say never, but
that'd be two older guys, right, as your one, too.
But no, like, again, if you're Cody, where are you going to go? Like, does Edmonton play a role in this?
That's what I was going to go to next.
Yeah, I could see a world where Cody stays in Montreal when you break down that that contract that was just signed. There's a lot of playtime incentive. I don't believe, or I would be surprised if he signed there before testing free agency and going to see what options are out there. And now free agency for him is going to come likely earlier than February. But I would be surprised if he agreed to negotiate to essentially be the backup there without having that opportunity. But I don't know how he feels necessarily about the city, and I know that him and Jason Moss are very close. I mean, the evidence is there that he was quick to go to Montreal after the shakedown here. So it'll be interesting to see how a few of those play out with ahead of free agency with Cody and a few others.
Dave, first to you. Any of the other free agent quarterbacks, are you curious about one of them more than another? You know, you're like McLeod, Bethel Thompson. Where does he go? Arbuckle, where does he go? Does anything there tweak you? Are you curious to watch?
You know, it's funny you say Nick Arbuckle, because if you had asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said he's going to be coaching in the States next year. But the guy comes in and wins a Grey Cup. So if you're Toronto, it's pretty hard to move on from him. So Nick Arbuckle is fascinating to me. I'm also really curious about McLeod Bethel Thompson. Again, I said that I thought he was sensational last year. He's just getting longer in the tooth. So that's going to be a real difficult one for me to see how that spins. So to me, I think Nick Arbuckle is kind of the wild card right now to see where he lands, as well as Cody Fajardo.
I'm all over the Trey Ford story. You hit it a little bit earlier there too. I'm just curious to see what a new regime comes in to Edmonton and see how they feel about him. And he was in and then he was out under the old guys, and he was in and then he was out. And some of it was injury, some of it was play related. So I'm curious to see how a new group comes in, and do they anoint him the number one guy? Do they try to give him a bridge contract, a kind of show me contract, if you will? But I'm curious to see how that one plays out for sure.
I'm curious about that in Edmonton, how much autonomy there will be, right? Because in my personal opinion, I don't have any insight on this, but from the outside looking in, it looks to me as though Rick Campbell was dictated, hey, we're playing Nathan Rourke, and we're playing him now, and we're playing him until his legs fall off. And it didn't work out in BC, and so they didn't make the change until the very end of the year when it was almost too late to revert back to what they were. So how much autonomy is there going to be in Edmonton? Because, again, the Elks and the Elks fans love Trey Ford. I'm not saying I don't love Trey Ford. I'm just saying that how long is he your ride or die, if you know what I mean?
Well, Rick Campbell will have experience in that then.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's the fact that as fans, we don't know. It's like hockey. We talked about it, right? It's like if you're a WHL general manager, you know if you have the horses to go 4 rounds. And the fans might say, "Oh, we're so close. Look where we are in the standings." You don't know. Like there is more to it. I think in Edmonton, that's where you need a guy behind him, like a Fajardo.
Yeah.
If you could, right? Who else do you put behind there that you're confident? Yeah, and is the sample size even close to big enough?
You're bang on. From constructing a team, 100% in agreement with you. What makes the cycle interesting is how many of those fans just want them to say, no, Trey's our guy. And so when he does struggle, which he will, because that's part of the game, and he has a bad game or two bad games, and then you have Cody standing on the sidelines, or you have another experienced guy standing on the sidelines, is it going to be too easy to say, yeah, let's get him out, let's give Cody a go? And then we kind of start this whole cycle again. I don't know, but from a team perspective, absolutely. The CFL proves year over year over year, you need more than one guy. So
where's Chris Drevler end up?
Winnipeg.
I think Winnipeg or nothing.
Yeah.
But he's a curious one to me, right? Because he's exhibited a difficulty in throwing the football. Like, his short yardage game is sensational. And when he was gone, the Bombers struggled mightily with Terry Wilson, the guy that they brought in to do that. And to me,
Marcus Sales somewhere is going, ugh.
Yeah. Well, to me, I wonder, like, is that a roster position you want to have on your team? The short yardage quarterback is the guy that you want to forego developing a guy like Tommy Stevens in Calgary. Was never even given a shot at trying to run the offense. It was, you're our short yardage guy, that's your job. Like, I love what they did in BC with David Mackey. The fullback became the short yardage quarterback. Why not? Okay, I get it. There's the whole, can he take a snap? But really,
you're a professional athlete.
Yeah.
I learned it in the end zone of our Evan Hardy Collegiate in grade 10. It's not that like that. That's a thing though, right? And then it's the evolving, the creativity. Can Strevler catch the ball? You know,
yeah.
Can you put him in at tight end? I don't know. So yeah. You guys think Winnipeg is the play? Let's take a quick break. Dave, stay around. We'll talk some hockey for a bit.
I'll be here, sure.
Dave, you have fresh coffee from
That's right.
The media speakeasy. I didn't even know it was it was over there. It's the all-new Sports Cage live from Agribition. We are going to be back. If you're watching that stream, we're at sportscage.com, and as always, we're on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op, proud supporter of our community with over 500 donations to local charities and nonprofits annually.
Listen weekdays at noon for Saskag Today on 620 CKRM with your host Ryan Young, along with Doug Falconer and Kevin Hirsch, offering the most extensive agricultural news coverage with precision weather meteorologists. In an industry that moves fast, stay updated with the latest, most reliable information in ag news, prices and trends, all in one place. Available anytime at saskagtoday.com. Saskag Today, your trusted source for all things agriculture on 620 CKRM.
When you shop at Sherwood Co-op, you're contributing to your community
while building equity and putting money back in your pocket.
Others may claim to be local, but Sherwood Co-op is truly local.
Rooted in your community for over 90 years.
They're a proud Saskatchewan company
who continue to support hundreds of community organizations each year.
Like the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit at the Regina General Hospital and the Cancer Foundation of Saskatchewan.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
Hi, this is Rod. My wife and I own Wheat Country Motors. You know, our staff is just tremendous. We have a great, diverse team that are knowledgeable, respectful, and they care. That means Wheat Country certified used vehicles are reconditioned properly, and we'll provide a Carfax history and a mechanical report. You're going to get abundant value and an excellent, attractive vehicle. We thank our diligent staff. Truly, we serve you in the rural tradition with a firm handshake and a look in the eye. See us at wheatcountrymotors.ca.
This is Kathy Ingram, Director of Finance and Development for Souls Harbor Rescue Mission. And as Christmas approaches, we desperately need your help. The need for our programs and the cost of our programs has increased dramatically. And now with the postal strike, our financial donations have decreased as well. This holiday season, please help us help those in need. Donate online at shrmsk.com, via phone at 306-543-2475, or in person at 1650 Angus Street, Regina. Thank you.
And now diving for Team Rat.
Barry, get down from there.
Why? The family left an entire pot of gravy out here just cooling in the garage.
I know, but it's not for us. Just because they won't call Busy Bee and get their garage door fixed doesn't mean we should take such liberties.
Okay. Whoa! 10 points.
Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Just get out of there. We just won't tell them.
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
You've been waiting. Black Friday savings are on now at the Wireless Age, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Save on your favorite devices with the lowest prices of the year. Save on SaskTel wireless plans with special offers for new and upgrading customers and bonus data. And save on accessories and device protection plans. On for a limited time, act fast. Shop in store or beat the line with curbside pickup or free Sask-wide shipping. Get the device you've been waiting for. See thewirelessage.com for details. Your SaskTel authorized dealer.
The all-new Sportscage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
It is Wing Wednesday at the Canadian Brew House. Only 69 cents each and a mountain of flavors to savor. And flavor of the month, do that wing thing every Wednesday at the Canadian Brew House. Memorial Cup announced for next year. It was Brandon, it was Medicine Hat, it was Lethbridge, it was Spokane, it was Kelowna. I was leaning Spokane, Medicine Hat, just on
based on roster.
Well, based on roster, based on who's had it before, based on Medicine Hat's new barn.
Yep.
Kelowna is the choice. Obviously, everybody loves Kelowna. Great spot. The thing about Kelowna getting it and Medicine Hat not, the rumors are starting that Gavin McKenna, the absolute phenom with the Medicine Hat Tigers, who is not draft eligible until next year, he's heading to the NCAA. The rumor, allegedly.
Wow.
Got nothing more to prove after this year. And I'm starting to think, and I'm like, you go to one of the bigger schools where we got some major NIL money, even for hockey. You got the North Dakotas, the Michigans, anything Boston, anything Eastern Seaboard there. I'm sure Denver's right up there, Michigan State. If that is true, wow, does this new NCAA transfer thing go a little sideways for the WHL?
Absolutely, right? And I don't know how you protect yourself from that. Like, if you're the Medicine Hat Tigers, like that's just amazing. And with the Memorial Cup going to Kelowna, I was a little surprised, I'll tell you the truth, because I thought, it's been in BC. Kamloops and Kelowna have had it. Now, I don't know what goes into the bidding process anymore. I'll be quite honest. It used to be, you had to come up with a plan to guarantee sponsorships, guarantee some money and profit that would go back towards the league. And there was a whole bunch of guarantees. So I don't know if that's still the case or not. But again, in the hockey instance, that's a surprise and a real tough one for Medicine Hat, right?
Yeah. Two different things that you've just hit me with here. So Memorial Cup bid, yeah, everyone loves Kelowna. They've hosted it a few times, I believe, in the past. Their history as a successful franchise, unquestioned, right? They are nearer the bottom than they are the top right now, and would actually be in the argument of even being in the WHL lottery, which makes it an interesting scenario. Typically, you see these bids go to teams that are trending to kind of peak in that age group or what have you.
Like Medicine Hat would have.
Exactly.
Brandon.
Exactly.
Spoke.
So when you sent me a note earlier today asking about or saying that this was being announced and Medicine Hat being included in that conversation, it almost seemed like a no-brainer. So interesting from that side, from a location and franchise type scenario. That's great. Kelowna will do a stand-up job, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of action involving Kelowna in the next little while. But the McKenna thing, I'm unsure of. I don't necessarily jump to the believing side of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a couple of things that kind of set me off on it or give me a hesitation on it. NIL, it technically can't go to Canadian students. It's only based on American students. Does someone want to push that envelope and get a player of his caliber in for a year or two? Maybe. I don't know if they can or not. Secondly, for me, is he has to ensure that he's NCAA eligible, which I have no idea what his education is like. And if that's not a hurdle for him, he has to go to a school and go to school. And is that a motivation for him? Is it something he wants to do, to go and be a full-time student and have to, keep up the university grades and all that stuff? Again, I'm not calling the kid that he's not a student athlete. It's just one of those scenarios that he has to evaluate, right? And now you're going from a 68 game schedule.
That's the thing.
With the quote unquote toughness of the Western Hockey League, and they talk about the Western Hockey League is preparing you to play in the NHL, which he will as an 18-year-old, down to a place that plays 30 to 40 games. Some of them are unbelievable competition, playing against older, stronger, faster type competition. And then some will be absolute duds, a few out of conference games. So I don't know. Could I see it? Yeah, this new transfer agreement opens up that opportunity. I'm not quite sure whether that's a realistic scenario for a player like him or not.
It's almost like if this would happen, then how hesitant are all teams to go lock, stock, and barrel on everything. Let's say the phenom we got here in Regina, Maddox Schultz, Western Hockey League, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to be a hell of a Western Hockey League player. Is a team going to go, well, we could lose this kid at 18, 19. The NIL thing too, the Canadian, I'm sure that's going to get challenged. Is there ways around it? And then the toughness and the schedule in the Western Hockey League is there. But if he puts up the points that he's leading the league right now, if he puts up the points this year at his age, and then he goes, hey, you know what? Like Michigan flew up here with a private jet. They took me down. They showed me the deal. Everything. Like, I don't know if we go back to when we were 18, bus to Prince George, fly to ASU.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's all makes sense. And what makes him another added layer is his late birthday, the year extra in the draft. So do I believe this is going to be, if this was even real and became a scenario, I don't think we're going to just see all these draft eligible kids moving on. I think because of his extra year in the NHL draft, it does make this a little bit of an interesting thing. But you're
and for
right.
For Medicine Hat too. Let's say you're Ryder Ritchie. You're there, and then it's like, we're going to have this wagon next year. We're building. All of a sudden, Gavin goes, ripcord, I'm out. Now, what do you do? Oh, right? Like, it's unfortunate. And that's where I don't, Dave, to your point, I don't know how the selection process works for the Memorial Cup these days. But Medicine Hat's team on paper next year, because that's what they looked at when we were Regina, right? Like it's a big piece. It was like a slam dunk. I would think second. Like, I don't know Lethbridge that well, but I know Brandon, what they have. If Roger McQueen gets healthy, like, they are going to be so good next year too. Kelowna, beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Lake will be open. Courses will be buzzing. But, are they going to have the team? And so this, I hope it doesn't for Willie Desjardins. Great guy. Got a nice place down in Cypress Hills. Heck of a guy. I hope this doesn't happen. But if, like, we're starting to hear these rumors, and yeah, it's real interesting. Did you guys watch last night the CHL prospects versus the United States development? You were watching WHL hockey.
Yeah, I was in Moose Jaw.
Yeah, we talked about it when Kellen was on yesterday, and I'm like, well, this is such the unknown, right? It's like the CHL versus Russia. Even that, when they had that, was, there was times where it was uneven, and it's like, well, it's another blowout. So last night, the U.S. development team, I watched the first period, and then I watched a bit at the end, first period, like the CHL prospects, and a team that skated together, I don't know, once or twice before, they were just that much better. And nothing against the Americans, right? Like, this is a team that plays kind of a hybrid schedule in that USHL. This isn't the best Americans out there. We're going to see that at the World Juniors. And then again, we are going to be on our heels. So they go at it again tonight. I'm wondering if this is a little bit of a made for TV thing that TSN's doing. Do they scale it a bit to say, hey, like, we got to keep this thing somewhat respectable and interesting?
Yeah, I just heard it. The scenario that if the USA wins, then there's a third game, but it's an actual best of 3. So if Canada wins,
I think it's only 2. They just. I
thought it was 2.
Just the hard 2. That's it.
I thought they said on the radio on the way over here.
Unless
NHL
Trump's
radio
getting involved, maybe he's.
There was a third, unless, and maybe it's a mini game. Maybe they play the 3 mini game.
Oh, like the senior hockey. That's
now we're just making things up.
But Kelly McClintock is good. He's on his way.
I heard yesterday that there's 11 A-rated, A-rated players on Team Canada, meaning that they're projected to be first rounders, and there's 2 on US. So even on paper going in, it was a little bit of a lopsided thing. And again, the U.S. National Development Program is an amazing program. They do an outstanding job, and a lot of those kids do move through the 17s onto the 18s and then onto the USHL or onto major junior and college and what have you. But I think you hit it on the head there, Barney, that these aren't necessarily the best.
No.
Canada got to kind of handpick the best players from across the CHL in that age group, and that US 17 team is that team. So
I almost feel that this U.S. team, development team, which that program is supposed to be unreal. Is it Dane Boyker, Sasky boy, is there right now. He'll be playing in this game if they have it again next year. I don't know, or who knows what happens.
Right.
But it would almost be that, let's say the BCHL was still a part of Hockey Canada. If they would have got the best junior A kids together, let them play against these guys. Like the CHL, I think, is a little bit of a tough task for them, although they do play together. They're really good hockey players. See where that goes for sure. Dave has not seen Maddox Schultz skate. They play this weekend at home against the Saskatchewan Blade. How do you explain Maddox Schultz to Dave? You coached him last year.
Yeah, he's outstanding. He's probably the best minor hockey player I've ever been around, and
wow.
He's exceptional in everything that he does. He's a top skater. He's a top skill guy. His compete level is off the charts. His work ethic is off the charts. His willingness to play physical is very, very high. He's a very much all-around good player. And the thing that I always, whenever anyone asks me, I've been asked about him hundreds of times, very close with the family. I've coached the kid for 4 or 5 years. The first thing that I always say, though, most importantly, is they are a fantastic family. The kid is an unbelievable human being. He's respectful to everyone. He's a good person that happens to be really, really good at hockey.
I heard he is. I've talked to him maybe twice. He was coaching summer power skating with his dad. My kids are out. His maturity level, when you think about where he really is, he's in grade 9. Mm-hmm. His maturity level is already, that's the other thing about him.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's just kind of been natural to him. It's not like his environment has extra shaped him. He's been a minor hockey player up until essentially this year, right? I realize that AAA is still minor hockey, but until he's kind of been more surrounded as a full-time person. And he's a different person type of thing. And he's such a good teammate and respectful to everyone that comes across. Loves to talk hockey. So if you ever have a chance to meet him and want to talk hockey, he's a kid that loves to talk. He's a bit of a throwback in the sense of he likes to be outside shooting pucks. He likes to go inside and watch his Oilers. Like
Oh,
he's one of those kids that he loves a lot of parts of the game, and he's a fun player to watch.
Last night you got a chance to see Casey Brown play. So he comes back from the BCHL. He's already committed to ASU.
Yep.
He's in Moose Jaw's lineup. Again, you're close with that family. Dean, head pro at the Royal Regina, where you manage. What can you mention about the process and getting him in? And it seems like it was pretty easy.
Yeah, I think once they got to the point to make the decision, it wasn't too difficult. I mean, obviously, they made a commitment out to Penticton, and it didn't quite maybe go the way that they hoped things would go, and the opportunity to move back and play in a really, really good league and get some opportunity, seemed like the right choice. And once he made that decision, it was a bit of a process of just going through that re-entry into Hockey Canada, which I don't think was too difficult from anyone's side. It just seemed like it took a couple of days, and then he was eligible to kind of go to Moose Jaw. But gets into their lineup last night. Not the worst opportunity to get stuck on the right side with Yager and play about 22 minutes last night. So
Yager was a tidy +5 for assists.
So it was fun. He looked good. It's definitely a level that he can play at, and I think he's gonna get his legs under him and kind of get back into playing that game shape and feeling a little more comfortable once he gets around that team and get going again. And I think he'll help them. He'll be someone that can provide some energy and some physical play for them. And great opportunity for another good kid.
When he had Benny on yesterday, the SJHL report, he was talking about how I think it was the Flin Flon kid that got plucked to the BC. Like, I hope that doesn't become a trend, Dave, for the SJs and the MJs, because the BCJ, I don't know if it's up around 40, maybe near 50 now of kids coming back into Hockey Canada strictly for the WHL and no. So how do I didn't get much out of the meeting that they had in Vancouver last week, but okay, now how are we going to get creative? How are we going to get these kids to come play in the BCHL? Well, let's start going to these teams. If they're not going to be playing in the Junior A Challenge, can we pluck them? How do we pluck them? Well, how do we, entice them to come? And then, rumor again, allegedly Okotoks is trying to get back into Hockey Canada. Like, does the BCHL, do they just eat some crow here and say, hey, we made a mistake?
Well, that's a lot of crow to eat.
Tons.
And there's some prideful people, so I don't know if that'll happen today or tomorrow before the end of the year. But the one thing that I get a sense right now, and last week when you were gone at the quilt show or whatever it was, we had
Big
Cody,
quilt guy.
Yeah, we had Cody Mapes on from the Weyburn Red Wings, and I get a feeling, and again, this is just an outsider looking in, that right now in the junior hockey world in Canada, it's like the ducks on the pond. Everything looks calm up top when you're saying the right things, doing the right things, but underneath the water, it's full scramble mode because those legs are just churning, trying to figure out what the footing is going to be. And he had even alluded to it. You can go back to it and listen to it in the podcast, where that, he's in conversations with Western Hockey League teams about developing players for them. So is that what junior A hockey is going to become? Is a developmental tool for the major junior route, or even it can still remain an option for NCAA? So there's more questions, I think, than there are answers at this time. And I feel bad trying to accomplish this mid-season.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, if you're up Mike Reagan and Flin Flon, you put together another championship caliber team up there, a team that hasn't been able to crack the nut despite getting to the final the last, 3 consecutive seasons. So if I'm him, I'm like, now what? Because there's no compensation. It's just too bad, so sad.
Yeah, up and gone. Yeah, I don't think it's completely settled yet. I think there might still be a couple of moves here. I think there's a December 1 kind of deadline in Junior A where you kind of reduce your eligible cards. So teams will be looking to kind of solidify what they're going forward with and keeping some cards open for potential January 10th deadline changes and things like that. But I'm not sure that it's completely done yet, but it will become an interesting scenario because you look like an SJHL team. If they feel like they're losing a little bit to Alberta or BC, well, what keeps them competitive? It might be the other way of instead of a WHL team coming to them, they might go to a WHL team around the province and say, hey, Musha, we're willing to work with you. If you want to park a guy or two here, then he's readily available. If you need him, he's close. He can come up.
Farm team.
Essentially, yes. And I know people would probably hate to hear that, but if that's what keeps players around and drives the level, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, it's for sure. Dave, you talk about the ducks on the pond and down below things are moving, and then I almost feel like the CIS and the U Sport. I don't even know if they found the pond. Like now they're sitting there going, where should we go and panic and paddle? You're going to stick around because we got about 5 minutes left. I got some fun questions for you when you come back after the break. It is the all new Sports Cage live from Agribition, streaming at sportscage.com.
Local communities are at the heart of what we do. Last year, more than 200,000 Saskatchewan people reached out for help through United Way's 211 service. When our friends and neighbors struggle, communities struggle. With your support, we can answer the call and connect to hope and help. Each of us have the ability to be there for our neighbors. Show your local love by donating today.
Visit unitedwayregina.ca and change lives today. Change begins with support.
Farmers, grain, poultry, cattle, barn, house, and more, a generator is a necessity. Whether you need to keep operating during an outage, keep water bowls from freezing, grain drying during winter, or need power at a remote location, you need a generator from Shorty Generators. Now is the season to buy or service your generator on the farm to be sure you always have power when and where you need it. And Shorty services all makes and models, including PTO generators. Come by and see them at Agribition this year at booth 1004, shortygenerators.ca.
0% financing on Bronco Sport, 0% financing on Ford F-150, 0% financing on Ford Escapes. You see the trend here? Future Ford has 0% financing on their huge selection of new vehicles. The 2024 has to go, and they need to make sure they have room for all the 25s they have coming. I know what you're thinking. 0%? What else can you do? How about free oil changes at any Ford dealership in Canada and half-price extended warranty? Check out their inventory at futureford.ca or visit them at Future Ford in Melville today.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals is on until December 7th at Prairieland Rental. Get deals on select Husqvarna items, including snowblowers with up to $400 off. Shop where the contractors shop, and you know you're dealing with local experts. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They appreciate your local business, and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals until December 7th. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielandrental.com.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
Back to the future.
We're live at Agribition. This is awesome. If you're around, come by and say hi. If you listen to the show and you're listening out there. Dave threw out a little nugget here just before he came back to break about one of the U of R Rams.
Yeah, Jackson Sombach, he impressed, right? The Calgary Stampeders last year decided he was going to come back and finish with what he had started with the U of R Rams. He's now signed a deal today with the Calgary Stampeders. So congratulations. And, I didn't know a lot about Jackson from a distance, but having watched him and the way he carried himself this year, that's terrific for the young man. And what a great decision he made to come finish his schooling, take care of the commitment he made to the Rams, and now he gets a pro chance.
It's like the Sutter family of football in Regina. Yeah. Like the dad played, the three boys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
anytime you start to see these kids, and like you say, made a great choice for the long run. Come back, finish your education, hopefully. play out your university. Obviously had a nice little run to end it with, and now go and try your hand at the pro game. So good for him.
The rodeo starts tonight here at Agribition, and we understand it is the free night, so it will be packed. It's going to be packed the next 3 nights under the orange top. We will have new rodeo clown that they brought in, Matt Merritt, joining us in hour 2. This guy's supposed to be one of the best in the world, and it is a skill. It is a massive skill, and you got to be a comedian and entertaining, and then you got to try and keep the crowd going and hop in that barrel, and it's a lot. Not the bullfighter, he's a rodeo clown, so we're gonna get the differences and talk to him. But at Agribition here, and I walked around, the trade show part. That's the beauty of Agribition. It's like you got the biggest farm machinery in some of those rinks, and then you walk out and you got koozie guy selling glasses, right? So I started thinking, and then these ladies over here, I don't know if you can pick them up on the mic, but they are cooking something. It's the all-day beef display. They got a little bleacher set up like a high school football game, people watching, and they are cooking away, and I'm sure it's going to start smelling really good at some point. So I was wondering, have you guys ever come to a trade show by yourself or probably with your wives and purchase something that you regret, something that you never have used or are going to use because you walk around and some of these displays and how they make them look here, and then you get them home and it's like, yeah,
I never went home with a combine or anything like that, but
smaller scale.
I always find that you get at very least you get these ideas like this would be awesome in my yard. And then you go home and go, how would this ever fit in my yard? So it's cool to walk around and be able to see all these things. And like you say, you walk by one place and it's a Yeti coffee mug that they're offering. And then you've got big farm machinery and different equipment laid out, 20 yards away from it. So it's the setup. If anyone listening's never been to Agribition, here, it's something you've got to take in. It's fantastic.
Gloria Evans, 620 CKRM morning show host. She said, I think it was last year, and I think my wife actually bought this too, the foldable food storage containers.
Oh boy.
And she's like, yeah, they didn't work. Got it home. Didn't work. Sold it here. There was this mop/broom thing that I don't know if they still do the display, and the guy does the display on the floor and how awesome it picks up dog hair and everything. We got sucked into that bad boy. It's in our closet. I don't know. And that's before we were married. We've been married like 18 years. I don't think we've used the thing twice.
One word that will define disaster: Flowbee.
Yeah. Or ShamWow.
No, we got a Flowbee.
Did you?
We got a Flowbee.
Oh, Dave. You still have it?
Oh, no.
Bring it to the Sportscage studio if you find it. We'll put it up in the corner. Dave, thanks so much for staying with us for the hour. Some insight. RP is going to stay with me for the remainder. We got Eric Francis coming up in hour 2 and new bull rodeo clown, Matt Merritt, who's performing tonight here. It is the all-new Sportscage live at Agribition.
Harvard Media really appreciates local businesses. We know you do too, and that's why we're giving away a $50 gift card to a local restaurant right here in Regina. We have a great line of local restaurants lined up, like Bar Willow Eatery, Tommy's Speak Eatery, Lakeshore Restaurant, and Schmitty's Smoked Meats and Catering. These restaurants are great for business lunches, casual get-togethers, or just to go out. All have dine-in or pick-up options. Visit their websites for their latest menus and hours, and tune into our radio stations to find out how to win.
You say
move,
and your cows say you tell them
your water is right over there,
and they say you can't convince a cow to move to the water, so move the water to the cows with the Kelm Solar Livestock Watering System. With the Kelm Solar Livestock Watering System, you can put your pump pretty much anywhere without the cost of hooking up to the grid. Learn more about the Kelm Solar Livestock Watering System at kelmsolar.com. Kelm Solar, we move water.
Sometimes everything can look perfect on the outside, but inside, things could definitely be better. Luckily, Freeze Tallman has everything you need to finish those indoor renovations this fall. That's right, interior reno season is here, so head to Freeze Tallman for all the insulation, drywall, interior doors, baseboards, and casing materials you need to make your home cozy and welcoming for the long winter months that lie ahead. Visit freezetallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel. Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it. I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
We want your business on board for the Harvard Media online auction. It's easy. All you've got to do is provide items like gift cards, experiences, services, or whatever cool product you have. And in exchange, we'll give you a world-class marketing campaign. No entry fee or cash outlay, just a good old trade deal. That hammer could be coming down for you. Just hit up harvardmedia.com and join in on all the excitement. Terms and conditions apply.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. There's some light snow and some drifting snow in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Sherwood Co-op. Proud supporter of our community with over 500 donations to local charities and nonprofits annually, and by Mercedes-Benz Regina. For those who can, Mercedes-Benz-Regina.ca. Canadian Western Agribition dedicated Tuesday for bison. Robert Johnson is a bison rancher in the southeast Saskatchewan area, and he says the bison sale went well.
We had a really good turnout. We had a fantastic group of animals consigned to our sale. We had 47 head from the 4 prairie provinces here. Just an outstanding selection of replacement breeding animals for people to take home and improve their genetics.
He says prices were averaging $6 a pound, something not seen on the bison market in 5 years. The Regina Police Service has launched the 5th All-Out Progressive Policing Initiative, Engagement and Enforcement, today. The initiative addresses concerns raised in the 2023 Community Perceptions Survey, including the need for increased police presence and a focus on drug and alcohol-related issues. Key actions include enhanced police visibility, targeted neighborhood operations in Cathedral and Harbour Landing, and proactive problem-solving. Officers are working closely with residents and businesses to build stronger relationships and improve safety. A federal cabinet minister is asking the premiers to forge a united front against Donald Trump's tariff threats. That despite signs of early cracks in that unity ahead of a key meeting between Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the premiers today. Some premiers are saying Trump's border concerns are legitimate, but Innovation Minister Francois-Philippe Champagne says he's confident all the premiers will get on board.
Our point is to make sure that whilst we address the issue you mentioned about the border and fentanyl, that we look at the border and say, how can we do more together? And you know, we have weeks ahead. So the work we have done before is serving well the interest of Canada. And I would say we're not going to cave in.
Quebec Premier François Legault says the Prime Minister should present a plan to reassure Trump that Canada's border is secure and not deny that there are problems. Some Liberal MPs say that they think their government should consider expanding the eligibility for an upcoming government rebate to include seniors who are no longer working. Prime Minister Trudeau last week said the government was responding to concerns about the cost of living by temporarily taking the federal sales tax off of certain goods and sending $250 checks to working Canadians in the spring. And Australia is about to pass a sweeping new law that would ban children younger than 16 from social media. ABC's Sherry Preston has more.
The bill, which has passed the Australian House and is about to pass the Senate, won't take effect for a year. In that time, the social media platforms would have to work out how to implement age restrictions before penalties are imposed. When it's put in place, this first of its kind in the world law would make Facebook, Instagram, X, Snapchat, Reddit, and TikTok all off limits to children under age 16.
The legislation would likely be passed tomorrow during the Australian Parliament's final session for the year and potentially the last before elections. That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Toque? Check. Ski mask? Check. Snowsuit? Check.
Where are you going?
To pump my gas.
Just fill up at Sherwood Co-op gas bars. You can pay at the pump, quick and easy.
Check.
They'll pump the gas for you, and you never have to leave your car.
Double check.
And every time you fill up, you share in the equity, earning cash back.
Triple check. I'm fueling up at Sherwood Co-op gas bars. Thank goodness. Because this toque flattens my hair.
We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
Put yourself in the driver's seat of the sporty Mercedes-Benz CLA 250. the timeless C300, or the versatile GLC 300 SUV. The choice is yours. Now leasing your new Mercedes-Benz is easier than ever. For $399 bi-weekly plus tax and 0 down, you can step into the luxury you deserve. Your luxury, your choice. Your Mercedes-Benz. Book your test drive today.
And now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialists in Grenfell, servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. Tonight, any leftover flurries ending early, cloudiness thinning out to partly cloudy conditions tonight and a low of -23. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud with temperatures remaining quite cold and a high of -19. On Friday, mostly sunny skies with unseasonably cold temperatures and a high of -22. At this hour in Moose Jaw, there's some light snow and drifting snow. Winds from the northwest at 31, and it's -11. Regina also has some light snow and drifting snow. Winds from the northwest at 34, gusting to 43, and it's -12. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Whether Smokey's after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rmpchevrolet.com today. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. The all-new Sportscage on this Wednesday for Regina Motor Products. They're probably humming through the 4x4s the last week. Winter tires, 4x4s, tune-ups, things that you need like that. Barney Shinkaruk, Ryan Pollock. We're going to be joined by Eric Francis here momentarily. We are live at Agribition, right in the soccer center. Things are humming here. The rodeo is going to pick up in a bit. We have a trade in the Western Hockey League, and our WHL report is always for Regina Motor Products, so that fits in well. Cole Temple traded by the Regina Pats for Julian Mays of the Everett Silvertips, both 2007s. I don't want to go into why, how, or what, but interesting. 2007 for 2007.
What's Mays? What position is Mays?
Forward.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that does make it interesting. You know, Everett's at the top of the standings right now, so that's why I asked to see maybe they just had a specific position need and were unloading a defenseman or what have you. So interesting move, obviously. And
5'8", 185. Selected first round, 20th overall of the 2022 prospects draft from Edmonton, Alberta.
There you go.
Temple was a first rounder.
Yep.
Right after Reese Hamilton. So
yeah, he mid to high there. Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting move by the Regina Pats as they get bodies in. What WHL rebuild, whatever. It's like, what, a 3-year deal if you do it correctly?
Yeah, depends on how you got to your rebuild, I guess. The teams that are coming off of coming off of Memorial Cup, runs where they've really had to sell. You're selling out draft picks, so you kind of hit a year or two where you don't have a first or second rounder. It hurts you, and obviously that's a little bit what's happening here right now, as we're still kind of feeling some of those changes and some of those sales, if you will, when the Pats hosted in 18 or 19 there. So it's got to start to turn around here for sure, and start to collect their own first rounders and start building again through the draft.
They got a lot of picks, and Alan Miller is no dummy. So he's going to figure it out.
They have a pile of picks in the next couple of years. So they'll have an opportunity to restock and get going again here, and being in the position they are in the standings and kind of the way the team is heading, it's a reality for them that they should have a high pick here coming up this year.
It would be extremely fun to have this guy with us over the next 3 days at Agribition. It's time to talk hockey with our guy, Eric Francis.
It's time to talk hockey on the all-new Sportscage with NHL analyst Eric Francis. Brought to you by South A Mainline, the Mainline Automotive Group's newest king of trucks. South A Mainline, just 30 minutes north of Regina. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed.
Francis, Michigan, getting ready for the Red Wings and Calgary Flames. We can't see you on the stream, but you can see us. What's that new rink like in Detroit? The Little Caesars place or whatever it's called.
Best rink in the league. Like there's
settle down. You've been to Vegas.
No, you're asking about the arena. I'm not talking about the atmosphere. I'm talking about the arena itself. Is absolutely, without question, the best arena in the National Hockey League. The way they've preserved the history, they've got the red brick in the concourse. Like it is very unique. It is steep. It is the steepest pitched stadium in the National Hockey League. It's a lot like Montreal that way. They had a small footprint to build it, so they wanted to build it up. And I was talking to Alex Tanguay, one of the assistant coaches, about the arena, and he says it's one of the loudest rinks in the league. Like, they haven't given him much to cheer about in Edmonton or in Detroit for a while. But on nights when it is rocking, it's really loud because of the way it's configured and built up, and got, fans are right on top of one another. Two of the Flames bigwigs, the president and the vice president of the organization, are actually here today. They flew in just to see this rink because the Flames rink is built with the Detroit arena in mind more than any other arena. They incorporated stuff from this rink more than any other rink. They had a little hint of Montreal's rink in the Calgary build, the design process, but they wanted to come here today and see it one more time. The plans are already drawn up and everything, but that's how well thought of this rink is. And I promise you, you need to come out and see a game here because it is that good a rink, and it is that incredible a nod to, there's everywhere you go, there's all sorts of nods to the old Joe Louis Arena and the great history of this franchise. So it's a cool place. Yeah.
That's some great insights on the Calgary rink too. That is upcoming, because I've been to the Montreal, the Bell Center there, and understand that the steep and how you feel like you're right over top of the ice, and as a comparable, that rink can get loud. So.
I've never been to the Montreal rink. I wanted to go to maybe to the Four Nations Cup. A guy was supposed to send me a link for tickets. That link never came.
It was just a link to Ticketmaster. I just remembered.
Sorry.
Good time to go see the rink, especially if you're a Flames fan, because tomorrow we got Thanksgiving football in Detroit as well. Awesome. Yeah. Hey, I gotta ask you this, Eric. We talked about it earlier in the show. I know it's an emotional. You and Maz talked about it on Monday. Emotional day tomorrow as the Flames go into Columbus. The thing, just a look behind the curtain. They play tonight, and then it's Is it an afternoon game tomorrow, or is it Friday?
Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense.
No NHL games tomorrow.
Nothing up against the NFL, but a whack of games tonight and on Friday.
Yeah. You know what's bizarre? The Flames are not skating tomorrow in Columbus, which in 30 years of covering this league, I've never heard of a team not skating the day before an afternoon game, because on an afternoon game, you don't get to warm up in the morning. There's no morning skate. So for NHL players to go a whole day and a half without touching the ice before a game, that's very, very unique. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before, but it's a mandated day off for the Flames. Like, every team's got different schedules, but at certain points you have to have mandated days off, and it just fell that way for the Calgary Flames.
Has anyone started talking about we're talking about the Four Nations, the rosters are going to be coming out. We've talked about the goaltending thing, but is anyone talking about teams that won't have a lot of guys going to play in this thing in February and how that's going to benefit them long term this season?
Like, I think that's interesting. Like, I was thinking of teams that have kind of a lot more players going. Yeah, so the most of guys going to play in that tournament is 5 games, right? They play the round robin, then they'll have a semifinal, and then they'll have a final. Like, I don't think it's that taxing over 2 weeks, to play 5 games. And I guess obviously if a team gets an injury, that's going to hurt a team. But you're talking about teams that get an advantage because they get the 2 weeks off. Well, I can tell you that Cabo is going to be just rammed with NHLers. And I'm not sure that they get to do a little relaxing, but some of the guys go pretty hard when they're over there, I'm led to believe. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a huge advantage. I think the Olympics is a bigger deal because there are more players from different teams that go. This is just 4 teams, and I'm not sure it's much of a difference at all.
See, I don't know. Canada and U.S. get into a greasy one. Finland likes to throw the body around. And then why Cabo? Why not Watuco? Somewhere, a little more sleepy where you can get some R&R. But I guess Cabo, especially if you're young, that's an absolute party. What do you think on that, RP?
Well, I really feel for those NHL players when they get those 2 weeks off to have to go to Cabo and escape the likes of New York City or Miami or Tampa or, so it's nice for them to get out of those centers.
Winnipeg.
But, Winnipeg,
Yeah.
Edmonton, yeah, for sure. But no, it'll be a fun event. It'll be fun to watch, obviously, the international and the quote-unquote best on best. I always put those in quotes because it's not necessarily the best on best, but it'll be an amazing level to watch as a reprieve and see which guys even maybe find their footing even more. Some of those high-end players, they go to an event like this and jack it up and play at that high level, and then do they come back and just go on a tear themselves as well? So
and then
there's lots of pieces to it for sure.
Yeah, what guys?
What do you mean? What do you mean it's not best on best? What does that mean? Why don't you think it's best on best?
Why? Because I think it's best on best by country. It's not best on best in the world. There'll be players that are sitting on their couch at home that would have made Team Sweden if they had a Swedish passport, or they would have made Finland if they had a Finnish passport,
Russians.
but they were cursed by being Canadians, or right now they're being Americans. So that's my only point is there'll be players that get left off some teams that could have made another.
Fair enough. I mean, we're going to have lots to talk about next week when they announce the name. The list have to be in on Monday, and on Wednesday, I guess after our show, they'll announce them to the world. There's going to be lots of great debate, and we forget how much fun that was going into Olympics. Everybody debating who should be on the team, who's going to get left off, who should get left off. I love that stuff. And it's funny, I haven't heard a whole lot of it right now. I mean, we in the media are talking about it, but I don't hear fans, arguing over whether Mackenzie Weegar should be the 6th or 7th defenseman for Canada or, stuff like that. But I think once it's announced, I think you're going to hear a hue and cry from a ton of different cities where one of their players got snubbed in their opinion, for sure, right?
Is there any way that as a third goalie they take Marc-Andre Fleury?
No chance. No chance. I'd love it. I mean, that guy, you want him involved as much as you want, but at this point, I'm not sure Canada's even going to take 2 goalies. Like, they don't have any goalies, really, if you ask me. Like,
wow.
I think that The guy who I think should be the goalie for Team Canada is Logan Thompson, but I don't think he's going to get a sniff. I don't think they're even. Well, I'm sure they're thinking about it, but the goaltending is going to be the biggest issue for Canada. It's the number one reason why I don't think they have a chance to win this thing.
I like the sentiment that Barney's getting at there with Marc-Andre Fleury, but Eric, you're bang on that. Maybe we'd buy in a little bit more if they had an established number one like a Carey Price or Martin Brodeur or Patrick Waugh going through those years. Then maybe you tug at some heartstrings and try to bring them along one more time. But they could spend 5 games searching for who their number one is. So in that short competition, they're going to need all hands on deck.
You know what the talk is that's surfacing again, and I can't see it happening, is the Sidney Crosby trade out of Pittsburgh because they stink. He just signed. Like, he's not leaving Pittsburgh. I thought last year would have been great. Go as a rental. Pittsburgh, fills the cupboard a little bit with some picks, then go back to Pittsburgh. Like, Eric, if we're betting odds here, like, there's no way Pittsburgh moves him or he moves and then comes back or anything like that, is there?
No, not in my world. I mean, I do think it'd be great for the league. How exciting would it be that if Sidney went to some juggernaut and seemed to be like that missing piece? But, Maz and I talked about it a little bit on Monday. Like, it's impossible to pick which team you think's going to win the cup. Like, I watched Jerome McGinley chase a cup forever, and he never came close. And, you can't – it's impossible to pick the winner. So even if Sid went to them and said, look, guys, out of all due respect, like, cash me in, get a bunch of draft picks for me, and send me to Vegas or wherever he wanted to go. I still think, your odds are about 1 in 16. You're going to pick the actual cup winner. The other thing is, I think that he would regret it. I don't think he has any desire to go somewhere else. I think he starts and ends his career in the same city. He runs a town forever, eventually becomes owner or part owner with Mario. And everybody lives happily ever after. Now, I know they're not happy because they're not going to win anytime soon, but I just don't see it. You guys don't see it, do you?
The thing that scares me about Pittsburgh is if you don't win there for a long period of time, I don't know, because lived there briefly, that is such a football market. And if they don't have a winner there, I worry about it.
Yeah, it becomes hard, and they're going to live while they keep Malkin, and if they keep Letang and they keep Crosby and they
Carlson, they got no trade. Like, no one wants those older guys.
They live in the worst spot you can live in the NHL, at that kind of out of the playoffs, but not in the not near that odds of getting a top 3 pick and someone again to start building your franchise. And I'm with you, Eric, all the way through. I don't see Crosby being traded, but I always think it's funny, the sentiment of understanding of I started here, I'm committed here, I want to be part of this, I want to help us in the rebuild. Then you take a step back and go, they got the first overall pick to get you, and in order to spring this forward. So if you want to help them, odds are probably better that you do move on, let them fall out, and let them start over again. But I'm with you. He starts there, he rides off into the sunset as a Penguin as well.
I want to go ask you this one. What NHL teams fans that expect a big year this year, now we're getting to Thanksgiving, they should start getting ready for some disappointment?
You know what? I'm going to put the 3 teams that have been disappointing, like, high hopes every year for the last 3 years or so, and every year they end up just doing the same thing. Detroit, Ottawa, Buffalo. Same 3 peas in a pod. Every year we think, okay, finally they're starting to build something. And, and all 3 of them have some pretty nice pieces, young core players, but they just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And I looking at the standings the other day, they're all right next to one another, or they're all right around 500. Everybody expects at least one of them every year to kind of get into that playoff spot, but it's such a tough division for them to crack that spot anyway. So I'll put those 3 at the very top of that list, and the other one would be Nashville, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious that everybody had some pretty high hopes for them, and it hasn't been a very good start, and I'm not even sure they can catch up at any point now.
Yeah, well, I worry about maybe a little bit about Oilers fans. I know we do this every year, and it's like a roller coaster of emotions, but I don't know. Just some of those teams in the West look so strong. Okay. People want a ping pong update. They're texting in. We're not going to talk ping pong today, but we are at Agribition, unbelievable trade show. So we're getting a text message here. If people haven't come, the cattle shows are unbelievable. Yeah, the kids do that. It's this thing's wild, and people from all over the world. Okay, now trade show shopping. I don't know if you've ever gone with your wife, Eric, and bought something that you immediately regret. Dave Thomas was on earlier. He said a Flowbee. I talked about the broom mop thing that we got sold on because the guy demonstrated it on his little 4x4 laminate floor. We took it home. We used it twice in 17 years. Anything come to mind? You probably, and you're a hoarder, so you probably still have a lot of this stuff.
Man, I got a lot of it. You know, it's funny. You throw that at me. I'm like, you know what? I bought a gutter cleaner from first of all, Stampede, they've got the same thing. They've got a trade show going on during Stampede. And all over Stampede, you got people walking around with those big, dumb stuffed animals from winning something. But there were also thousands of people walking around with that, probably the same mop you got sold. You know, the demonstrations are incredible. And you're walking around Stampede for 4 or 5 hours. Some people even in the bar, and they've got their stupid mop propped up next to them because they saved $10 because of a show promo. It's hilarious. But this gutter cleaner I got, guys, it's one of the better things I ever bought at one of those shows. Like it's like a long, solid pipe. It's about 6-7 feet, but then you can extend it, and then it's curved at the top, so you plug your hose into it, and you just blast your gutters out. You just kind of prop it up over your gutter, and you blast them out. Fantastic! Like next time you're in town, if you want to borrow it, I'd be happy to lend it to you. It's so good.
Sounds like a nice little Saturday.
A cozy little Saturday, Bed Bath & Beyond.
I need what we need in the spring is you to do a video and post it to the Sportscage just to get everybody a look at that. That sounds fantastic. Okay, appreciate this. Have a good one tonight. I know it's an emotional one coming up on Friday for everybody involved as you guys go into Columbus, and then we'll catch up next week.
Okay, my man. Have a great weekend. Don't buy too many things. If you do see a ShamWow, though, pick me up a 3-pack.
I'm looking for the slap chop.
Yeah, slap chop guy. We got a 2-for-1 deal, so we're pot committed.
Love it. See you, boys.
There's our NHL insider Eric Francis. It's for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie Saskatchewan. Grand Caravan 2024 style. You get $1,000 bonus cash right now, or $20,000 off MSRP on the Ram 1500s here as we're still in November. Go visit them. Like I said, the new king of trucks in Southie Saskatchewan, Southie Mainline Chrysler. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed. Let's take a quick break. We're live at Agribition. When we come back, we're talking to one of the top rodeo clowns in the entire world. Sportscage, you're streaming at sportscage.com.
The all-new Sportscage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
Harvard Media is proud to introduce the Charity Art Auction in support of Creative Kids Saskatchewan. 2 classes from local schools will go head-to-head in a friendly competition to raise funds while showcasing their artistic talents. The artwork will also be proudly displayed at the Connexus Arts Centre during the annual Winter Wonderland event. All proceeds benefit Creative Kids Saskatchewan. Place your bids starting December 12th.
Get ready for winter, all winter long, with Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. A new Bryant furnace can keep your whole home warm. And right now, you can finance your Bryant furnace with Bronco for a special rate of 4.99%. And don't start paying for 6 months. Plus, don't forget about available rebates on qualifying furnaces. Be ready for winter with Bryant at Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. BroncoPlumbing.com. Bronco and Bryant, whatever it takes.
Tiny toppings and cardboard-flavored carbs are not what you get when you order from Western Pizza. But they haven't just perfected pizza. No, my friend, add Caesar salad to that list, along with satisfying garlic toast, baked lasagna, crispy chicken wings, and every other item on their extensive menu. Western Pizza makes food for hungry people. So if you're only kinda sorta hungry, you should invite more people. Western Pizza, big on toppings, big on taste.
The holiday campaign is about giving.
Make a donation to Creative Kids and help a child or youth access the cultural activities of their choice. Help change a life.
I love painting and drawing. Creative Kids make sure I have the materials I need to express myself through my art.
Thanks for helping me learn to express myself. With all of your help, who knows where the future may take me.
Make a donation today at creativekidsask.ca and feel the love of giving this holiday season. Saskatchewan's Creative Kids thank you.
You'll get the gist of it? Will I? Does a gist have to be given? Can I just take a gist? You know what can be really tough to get the gist of? Saskatchewan winter driving conditions. But at least your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Evolution winter tires. Cooper Evolution winter tires provide exceptional grip and traction in the snow and ice. See your local Cooper tire dealer for Cooper Evolution winter tires. They'll help you get the gist of winter driving.
Don't get caught when the snow starts to fly. It's never too early to start thinking about Degelman's industry-leading bulldozer blades. No two tractor manufacturers are alike, so why would you trust a blade that's one size fits all? Degelman engineers, designs, and individually builds all bulldozer tractor fit-ups to ensure proper mounting locations are the best spot to push from. Protecting your tractor investment. Visit the Build-A-Blade feature on Degelman.com for more information. Degelman, engineered tough.
The all-new Sportscage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage live from Agribition. Barney Shankaruk and Ryan Pollock. The C's are back at the shop, making sure things look good. We usually have this Where Are They Now feature, and I'm going to run it here. It's you need new floors, get the Stars of Flooring, Floor Coverings International, locally owned mobile flooring showrooms, thousands of choices, FCLfloors.com. So it's not Where Are You Now, but it's just like we don't get to talk to many rodeo clowns. We got Matt Merritt joining us live here if you're watching the stream. Sean was talking about it, that like you got to interview this guy. This guy's one of the best in the business. First off, thanks for coming on, making some time. I know you're going to be busy. You got a busy few days here. Like for a rodeo clown, like is there like pregame naps involved? Is it, how do you get ready?
Yeah, so naps are important. They're probably the most important part of it. The wild thing is I travel so much, so time zones kind of mess me up. So, I definitely try to nap. And usually, so it's 4:30 p.m. now. The first horse will buck tonight around 7. So when I leave here, we'll go over there and have a little production meeting. And then I'll kind of get dressed early and try to work a sweat up and get going before the performance starts. I feel like my brain works better when I'm sweating for whatever reason. And rock on, let things unfold.
They run the stairs, push-ups, ride a bike.
Yeah, I do jumping jacks, cross jacks, push-ups, and I do yoga push-ups. You know what those are?
No.
I'm not going to show you.
Yeah.
Well, we do got the live stream going.
I know you do. That's why I prefaced with it. I'm not going to show you.
Yeah. Rodeo clown. Like, first off, your tax return. Like, what do you put on there?
Rodeo I put, so my wife lies to her friends. Like, if she meets new friends, she's like, yeah, my husband's in the sports business. She won't call me what I really am. Entertainer is a word we use quite often. Yeah. To be honest, I don't know how much time we have, but the whole term rodeo clown, it started from back in the day when circuses would come to town on the train, and so the clown would jump in between the trapeze artist and the guy in the cannon and do something fun to get your attention from them moving things around. Yeah. So basically rodeo just stole the idea, dressed a guy up like a clown. The guy was already there working, doing things. So then it happened. So then over the years, I guess that long story was to tell you that we're not really as much clown as it like it once was. It's more of an entertainer's position. So that's sort of our title now. Barrel man. We do work the barrel to save the bull riders. And, that's another title we use. So we have many titles but I'll as long as it's on my check, I don't care.
So taking a step way back, and you mentioned before we came on air that you're originally from North Carolina. If you're from Canada, I would assume you started out as a hockey referee before becoming a rodeo clown. But how do you get started? How did you decide, and how do you get started when you want to get into this business?
Well, it's a series of bad decisions. In all seriousness, I grew up in Louisiana. I've been in North Carolina for 20 years. But where I'm from, I guess you could compare it to this area where ag is a big thing in Louisiana where I grew up. So I had, baseball, football, basketball, rodeo. You knew someone in the community that had made it to the professional level, this legend in every one of those sports. So we all kind of just fell around rodeo. It was normal where I grew up. And I early on decided, man, I want to do that job because it looks fun. You get a paycheck every time. It just seemed to fit me. And oddly enough, there's like only 100 people on the planet that do what I do. So it's kind of cool. Like there's a lot of work. I'm booked until not fully booked, but I have events all the way to 2032.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're married.
Yes.
That I know. Like that's got to be challenging. Wife, kid. Like, do they come on the road with you quite a bit?
They do some. So my wife is meeting me. I leave here on Sunday after the last performance, and I'm going to Las Vegas for 15 days for the National Finals Rodeo. My wife will meet me there Monday, stay the whole 15 days. My kids will get there a little later in the week. They're 16 and 12 now.
Okay.
So like your sports guys, you would get it, but they're into gymnastics and they junior rodeo, and that's the hardest thing is they used to travel with me a lot, but now they kind of have lives. So, Dad's a lonesome old cowboy sometimes on the road, but that's all right.
I'm assuming it was just a scheduling conflict that they were able to get to Las Vegas and couldn't get up to Saskatchewan.
Yeah. They couldn't make it here.
Yeah.
It was,
Here's a picture.
The planes were too small.
What's over under 100 days that you would actually be at home in a year?
Oh, way under, man. That's sad. Honestly, it's kind of heartbreaking. I saw my family more than this, but I've done the math actually very recently. So today's December, or no, it's the 26th or something? 27th of November. I think I've been home. It's like 37 days this year in my bed. That doesn't mean I wasn't with my family, but I'll do 195 performances from January 1 to December 31st.
Wow.
Three countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Matt Merritt joining us here live. He is the rodeo clown, the barrel man, the entertainer tonight. I love rodeo. I got to cover it younger broadcasting days. I always found the bullfighters are hard. They're protecting, they're making them spin, all that jazz. You guys are helping that out. You're jumping in the barrel, like the entertaining part. First off, the guy on the other side of the mic, like the guy you're going to be working with here the next 4, do you know him? Do you guys script anything?
That's a great question. Robert Schmidt is the announcer here. Never met him until last night.
Nice.
He gave me a ride back to the hotel, and then we rode back over together today. Hit it off with him great. He's just like me, just super chill and happy to be getting to do this job. We didn't script anything. I have 2 or 3 little bits that I can go to. So let's say like the ambulance has to leave to take someone, and they go, man, it's going to be 4 minutes before we get another ambulance. We need you. I have some scripted bits, but mostly I try not to do those just because, I don't know, I feel like people enjoy the surprise of what might happen next. And sometimes it hurts you. You fail sometimes trying off the cuff, but yeah, that's my goal, is to be as raw as possible.
What a skill. Like it would be so hard. Like people say talking on the radio for 3 hours is hard, or talking and doing a speech, right? Like what you do, and you're out there, and it's so intense. And it is life and death when the bulls are out there, right? Like it's for real. When you started, like what was maybe the biggest lesson you learned quickly when you got to the pros?
I hope I don't get too deep or philosophical here, but it's to be who you are with a little bit extra. And I'm sure you guys might have to have the same mentality in what you do, because I know at home you may not act exactly like you do on the radio. Maybe you're an exaggerated version of yourself that gets a little more excited. You have to find a way to be that guy that's just the life of the party without being like the annoying guy in the room either. So it's just a fine line of.
I can't find that line, but you should write a book.
I disagree.
I'll read it.
I think you're very easy to be around.
We actually wear these headsets at home.
These are tattoos.
Because you're entertaining, and I've seen you guys do your thing. I've always wondered this. Have you ever done stand-up? And how long of a set could you do if someone said, here, you got to go do a set of the stand-up?
I've never done stand-up in a stand-up environment. I've done stand-up, essentially. But like one time I was at the PBR Velocity Finals in Las Vegas, and that situation came up. The last bull rider of the night got injured. No, the one before him was injured. The ambulance has to leave. So they're like, it's 11 minutes minimum before we get a new ambulance in here. So now we're at the climax of the show, the very end, and everyone in the room is like, what do we do? And now I'm the running back, in the huddle going, it's 4th and 2, give me the ball. Nice. So I just take off and I do 11 minutes of just, I didn't have a script, but I just picked it up and ran. And you know what's cool is we have some of the greatest fans. Like, this place will fill up in 11 minutes tonight as soon as they open the door, they say. So when you have that element and all the loud people there cheering and stuff, you can use that to your advantage. That's contagious when people are having fun.
See, yeah, I'm sure you get
that guy's got nice hair. Can we turn the camera on him? He looks like the guy that gets the girl in all the Lifetime movies.
Good hair, good smile on that guy right there. So I'm sure there's an education aspect to this, understanding tendencies of the animals and what they may do. But do you ever get to an event and get tipped off on specific bulls?
Oh, absolutely.
Or specific?
Yeah, there's a few that I know. There's one called Up the Ante, owned by Cullen Pickett down in the States. There's another one called The Shining. Those two, like, I literally will say, can I please just get out of the barrel? Because they're just horrible. Like, they'll be bucking and the guy will come off. They don't even worry about the rider. They'll see me and I could be 60 feet away, and they just look, take a breath, and then they come. And that Shining, he probably weighs, I don't know what system you use to measure, but he's like 2,000 pounds, so a ton.
That's got to be 11 stones.
And I've got a video I can show you guys of him hitting me. And like, I had those Ray-Ban glasses with my view. He dented my barrel, gave me a concussion. Like, there's some bulls that they'll tell you, hey man, be ready. And then most of the time, even if they're mean, they're more like, they're after movement. So me and the barrel, I'll only move the barrel if like I need to. So you can pick it up and walk it into the situation, giving the guys something to hide behind if it's real serious. So like, I don't want to take the credit for what the bullfighters do. I'm very much a backup plan, like, for real.
Wow. The entertaining thing would be so
entertaining hard. And having that part on your mind, and then getting scared when you know there's a mean bull coming later. It is hard sometimes to be like, the nerves versus public speaking, two different jobs.
Right. Now you've been with your wife a while, but like, when your kids were younger, like, how scary was that for them? And at what point did they go, Dad's okay?
Really, it wasn't, because I was doing bull riding more where there wasn't a barrel. I was like on a shark cage and stuff. That was sort of my career path at the time. I've been rodeoing much harder the last 3 years where I'm in the barrel. And now they're a little older, so they kind of just laugh when I get hit. They think they're like you guys, like, they blood and guts, kill the clown. They think it's funny that Dad does that, but they didn't really have to deal with it when they were younger, because I wasn't in that situation as much.
Not joking here, but question, like, is it really hard to get health insurance for what you do?
No, I mean, I don't have much trouble with it. My wife, she sort of handles all that. And I mean, we're self-employed, so I don't know. Up here, you guys have free healthcare, right? Yeah, so down there, I'm self-employed, so it's pretty expensive, but it would be if I were a landscaper that owned my own business. I don't know that my occupation makes it any worse, and I hope they're not listening.
Riders, right? Like, who are the guys out there? Maybe not the guys here, but maybe next week in Vegas. Like, who's the Michael Jordan or right now, I guess?
Man, there's so many. I would feel rude to me to name just one. Look, the thing with bull riding is, you guys cover sports, you get this. When a guy's mentally there, you can't beat him.
Mojo,
and sometimes that lasts 2 months. Sometimes it lasts 15 years. Guys go on these heaters, and then sometimes they'll get hurt. You get a guy breaks a femur or something bad, and he may come back physically, but he mentally, he may not ever overcome that. So it's hard to tell who those guys are going to be. And that's what's so fun about this sport. There's always a new 18-year-old too. It's coming out of nowhere that you may not have heard of. He may not have a sponsor on his shirt, but he may kick your butt. Vegas
is probably the biggest one.
Right.
That you go to. What's the smallest one that you do?
Oh yeah, we were talking on the way over here, Sean. I do events all over, but one of my best memories was this little town in Fyfe, Alabama, Fyfe, and it's probably, it's small little area, and 3,000 redneck people would circle around this arena, and they two buck and shoot. So normally here we have 6, so it's just little. This one's first, then that one, boom, boom, boom. And it's like a 2-hour show, but it was just so electric and fun, and everyone was on top of you. Look, I've done them in like AT&T Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play, and you can't see the people in the top row. And I've done them in those little towns, and actually sometimes the little ones are more fun.
It's amazing.
Trying to entertain like AT&T Stadium, like that's unbelievable.
I did the Kid Rock Rodeo this year in May. It was at AT&T Stadium, and dude, I did 11 miles in there that night. My feet were bleeding when I left. I had my phone on.
Wow,
crazy.
This is unreal. No, I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun for people. And so tonight's free. Sean Kindop standing here from Agribition. Tonight's free. It's going to fill up in about 11 minutes, you said. Tomorrow, there are some tickets. So if you want a rodeo tomorrow, Thursday night, because it gets sparse Friday and Saturday. Matt, thanks so much for taking time. I know you got a busy schedule, and I love the pre-scout thing. So that's one thing says he like pre-scouting, and it's like read the game notes, right? What's this guy all about? Have a good one.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Pleasure to meet you all. Sorry, I've got my hat on. It's hard to wear this.
No, it's all good. We love it. Let's take a quick break. That was Matt Merritt. He'll be performing tonight here. It is the all-new Sports Cage. We are streaming live from Agribition at sportscage.com.
Water heater and water softener rentals are now available at Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Instead of paying big money up front, you can rent a water heater and water softener directly from Bronco without the worry or hassle. They have a long history of renting water heaters and water softeners, and they're maintenance-free. Bronco comes and does all that for you. Saskatchewan's best water heater rentals are from Bronco. Call 306-781-2090. Professional, courteous service. BroncoPlumbing.com.
Hey, it's me, Terry the Talking Tire. Have I got something for you? Regina Motor Products has got instant rebates on all the top brands when you buy a set of 4 tires. That's a $120 rebate on new Bridgestone Blizzak tires, $90 rebate on new Pirelli Ice Zero Asymmetrico tires, or $70 rebate on all other Pirelli tires, $90 rebate on new Firestone winter tires, $65 rebate on new Michelin tires, and $50 rebate on new BF Goodrich tires. Regina Motor Products has your winter tires. Visit rmpchevrolet.com.
Regina Royal Canadian Legion Branch 001 has the ultimate chance to make your holidays extra bright this Christmas. The Regina Legion Vehicle Raffle is on right now. For your $100 ticket, you have the chance to choose between 14 brand new vehicles. Proceeds from the lottery stay right here in Regina and go towards initiatives such as assisting homeless veterans, the RCMP, military, and preserving history in the museum. Draw date is December 12th. Get your tickets at reginalegion.com.
Lottery license number LR240035.
Hi, this is Riley McChesney with McDougall Auctioneers, the largest privately owned auction company with the most locations across Canada, specializing in agriculture and heavy equipment. For over 4 decades, we've set the standard in asset auctions, appraisals, and consulting services. Our experience and commitment to innovation and transparency have made us the first choice for customers across the nation. Our expert team of over 90 staff is ready to serve you, and we ensure every auction is a success. McDougall Auctioneers, where every bid counts.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Little where are they now, but we've never talked to him before, so it was really interesting. Matt Merritt, the rodeo clown, entertainer, barrel guy. No way in heck that I do that gig.
Heck no, absolutely not. And I like this comment after of thanking us for taking it serious. And I'm like, I ain't stepping out there in front of these animals.
Why wouldn't you?
So
that's Sasky though, right? Like there's things that Sasky people, I find when you interview people and you talk to people, it's like curling. Like we know it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we know our hockey, we know our football, things like that. Rodeo, like, you know, unless you're like a real city slicker, never gone, like most people around Sasky know rodeo and how hard it is. And not just bull riding.
Oh yeah.
Like the women that are doing the barrel racing and the training and the amount of, you know, the time, the thing about rodeo that really baffles me is the time, the travel, everything. And it's like downhill ski racing or something. It could be done like that.
You get your one run and you better put a good performance in it. And
Yeah.
hopefully that you can continue on the rest of the weekend. So
Like golf, you can battle back,
Exactly,
right? Bad
yep.
start, hockey, football, all that. It's like, you know, you're barrel racing or saddle bronc riding or steer wrestling and something slips or you just don't have, like you said, the mojo thing would be so important. So tonight it is free. It will fill up in 11 minutes. If you haven't planned on it, you better make plans now. Tomorrow there are tickets available for the Thursday night. Friday and Saturday is very sparse here at Agribition. And then, like I said, last night I watched that bull fighting. That was only a one night thing. I don't get it. I was so nervous, worried. I was and twitching for these guys, and basically it's them and a bull in a ring, and they're trying to piss off the bull.
One toe pick away from disaster.
Yeah, and you're running on dirt. And like the announcer said, these guys aren't wearing cleats.
Yeah.
It is
They're wearing loafers.
Yeah, the whatever the turf monster is that the dirt monster gets you, and it's could be some trouble. So a lot going on. Hockey around the area tonight in Notre Dame. Humboldt is there in the SJHL. We had our SJHL report yesterday with Benny Walchuk for Southie Mainline Chrysler. Western Hockey League, everything is out west or in the U.S. Warriors, a 7-4 win last night over Swift. Rylan Kovacevic had 3 goals. Pavel McKenzie, 2 goals and an assist. He was a +3, and we talked about it earlier. Braden Yeager, 4 assists and a tidy +5. You were at that game. Swift is a good team this year.
Yeah, they are. They're dangerous on the power play. You see their whole game
Misselbacher
really lift when they get a power play opportunity. They got 5 guys that they throw out there that can really snap it around.
AAA Midget, AAA U18. The Pat Canadians visit Yorkton tonight. Moose Jaw, second-place team, taking on the Blazers at the Rod Ham up in Saskatoon, formerly Harold Trace, an excellent French fry up there. Contacts are in Prince Albert. Prairie Junior Hockey League. Got to start giving some love to these guys. They battle hard. Prairie Storm making the trek. It looks like it's snowing a bit out there. Prairie Storm making the trek into Assiniboia for a 7:30 puck drop. And then a ton of NHL games. If you like to sprinkle, like this is a night, could be. I'm not going to the rodeo tonight. This is a couch night and hit it because you got all the Canadian teams playing except for the Oilers. Flames are in Detroit. We just talked to Eric Francis. Canucks are in Pittsburgh. Florida hosting the Leafs. Jets and Kings. Interesting matchup. Yeah. The Kings, that's a late affair. You can watch that one late. The Kings are that sneaky team. You don't know what shows up there. So the Jets taking on Los Angeles, and the Senators and Sharks. If you want to watch that, hopefully you got a relative playing because I don't think there'll be. Well,
I'm a Sharks fan.
Yeah,
I get mad every time they win right now.
What made you a Sharks fan? Patrick Marleau, Joe Thornton.
Joe Thornton. I grew up a Bruins fan, and I followed Joe across when he got traded there, and yeah,
they were so close so many years.
So good. They were so good, but it's a tough league, and there's lots of really good teams, and they were competitive for a while. And I was going to go back to that Prairie Junior League comment there, that I spent a loop in the Junior B League there when I was a 17-year-old, and made a couple trips down to Assiniboia that weren't so friendly, but that must be a nice spot to go to now at that rink. Could circle it on the calendar when you're making that trip.
I have yet to get in that rink.
Yeah, just seen pictures of it and videos and highlights from different games and events, but yeah, it looks absolutely amazing.
We also recap the WHL report, always for Extreme Hockey. This week, massive Black Friday sales, up to 50% off select products, and they have a giant Yeti sale here at the Cooperator Center at Agribition, the pro shop. They have the display. I walked by it just to see it. I didn't even know they made that many Yeti things. It's kind of like the popular thing out there. So big sales if you're in and around Agribition with our friends at Extreme Hockey. Text messages. We got some people that bought that same stupid mop slash broom thing that I did.
You sent that guy into retirement. All those buyers sent that guy into retirement.
If he's here, I feel bad. I'll maybe go apologize to him. And then Eric Francis, beauty with his gutter cleaning thing. The lady shut down the beef display here. That was going. Yeah. Remember back in the day, the pot, there was always the pot guy too, or frying pan. They would do the displays at trade shows.
Somewhere else there.
No. And it was like, man, do I need all those pots? I'm 21, living in a basement suite.
How do you pass up the deal?
But that's the thing. Oh, there's a payment plan. Well, see, I got my Visions TV. I can afford another $35 for 18 years. I need those pots.
So I can make macaroni in different size pots all day. 2
different itchy bands going at the same time.
Got a beef and a chicken blend.
That basement suite never been better. No, there's a miniature hot tub guy over here, so that'll get some buzz. It's just when you have a hot tub in this weather, you better look long and hard at Arctic Spa, because it starts getting cold, and that's something that you need something that's made for the elements. I don't want to say his name. I know a guy that went to a trade show. I think it was in Saskatoon, actually. He bought a kayak.
It's an interesting purchase.
Like, I'm worried about my broom and mop. This guy walked
He's
out.
rolling out with a kayak.
But there's always the massage things too that suck people in. My wife gets sucked into anything food.
How would that go over, coming through the door saying I bought a hot tub at the trade show and convincing the family, and then it just turns out to be a one-seater?
You basically bought a bathtub, Dad.
Yeah.
With jets.
We got 3 of those already. You just want to put one outside?
And you're the only guy in the house that's a bath guy. Everyone else likes shower. Everyone else is after a shower head, and you go get yourself a bathtub. What a selfish move. That does sound something like I would do that. Something stupid. Bring it home. It is the all-new Sports Cage. We have an hour left. In hour 3, Farhan Lalji is going to join us. Interested to talk CFL movements with him. If you missed it, we had Dave Thomas on earlier in the show. You can go back and listen to the podcast. Jackson Sombach from the U of R Rams signed with the Calgary Stampede. I don't think there was any doubt that was going to happen. What a player.
Yeah.
What did you think of that run for U of R?
Yeah, that was awesome. And then being able to watch the Vanier too and seeing how that one played out, and you get a little bit of that what if scenario, right?
Absolutely.
So, but heck of a run.
So more football talk. We'll talk Agribition. We'll talk Rodeo. We'll talk hockey. We got another hour left. It is the all-new Sports Cage live from Agribition, streaming at sportscage.com, and as always on 620 CKRM.
Harvard Media really appreciates local businesses. We know you do too, and that's why we're giving away a $50 gift card to a local restaurant right here in Regina. We have a great line of local restaurants lined up, like Bar Willow Eatery, Tommy's Speak Eatery, Lakeshore Restaurant, and Schmitty's Smoked Meats and Catering. These restaurants are great for business lunches, casual get-togethers, or just to go out. All have dine-in or pick-up options. Visit their websites for their latest menus and hours, and tune into our radio stations to find out how to win.
The newest king of trucks in Saskatchewan is Southie Mainline Chrysler. Get up to $20,000 off MSRP on the Ram 1500, Dodge Durango, and Jeep Grand Cherokee. Plus, an additional bonus cash up to $2,500 on select models. Our remaining 2023s have up to $13,085 off. Just 30 minutes north of Regina. SouthieMainline.ca. Worth the drive every time. Guaranteed.
It's Black Friday week at Extreme Hockey and Sport. Get 25 to 50% off selected items. Check out the Bauer Fit Lab for your custom skate fitting. And check out the new shooting lane. Feel great on and off the ice. The massive Black Friday hockey sale at Extreme Hockey and Sport for the hockey player on your list. And don't miss the amazing Agribition Yeti sale event at the revamped Pro Shop at the Cooperators. Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street and the Pro Shop, conveniently located at the Cooperators Center.
We want your business on board for the Harvard Media online auction. It's easy. All you've got to do is provide items like gift cards, experiences, services, or whatever cool product you have. And in exchange, we'll give you a world-class marketing campaign. No entry fee or cash outlay, just a good old trade deal. That hammer could be coming down for you. Just hit up harvardmedia.com and join in on all the excitement. Terms and conditions apply.
Be the reason Saskatchewan children have hope for a brighter future when you donate to Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation. Support the Making Spirits Bright catalog at pattisonchildrens.ca. Your gift supports equipment, programming, and research, helping children and families across the province receive specialized care at Saskatchewan's only dedicated maternal and children's hospital. Double your donation thanks to a match by Thrive Wealth Management. Make a difference today by donating to Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation at pattisonchildrens.ca. Get
it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Some will try to tell you 8 inches is enough. Others will say 10 inches will do. But when you want a lot of pizza, you gotta hanker down with the delicious 13-inch pepperoni from Western Pizza. Why mess with a good thing? You know what you want. 13 inches of pepperoni pizza perfection from Western Pizza. Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
I'm delving in. What does that even mean? Can you only delve into something? Because you know what I like to do? Delve out of Saskatchewan winters. But at least your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Discoverer Snow Claw winter tires. Cooper Discoverer Snow Claw winter tires provide exceptional grip and traction in the snow and ice. See your local Cooper tire dealer for Cooper Discoverer Snow Claw winter tires. They'll help you delve into winter driving conditions.
The 620 CKRM Country Corner is brought to you by Glasses TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, and Foster's Audio Video in Carlisle. Get the newest cell phone today with an amazing SaskTel rate plan.
Join Sask Ag today at Canadian Western Agribition. Come watch the show live inside the Affinity Plex all this week, or tune in daily to hear the latest of what's happening at the show. The Dickens Village Festival is December 6th and 7th in Carlisle. See Ebenezer Scrooge, Father Christmas, and carolers. Enjoy a horse-drawn carriage, high tea, the English market, and much more. Visit townofcarlisle.com for more details. And put tickets to Country Thunder Saskatchewan under the tree this year. The lineup includes Def Leppard, Jason Aldean, Bailey Zimmerman, and many more. Tickets and camping at countrythunder.com.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com.
Good evening. It's cloudy and it's minus 12 in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound in Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. A former Regina high school teacher accused of having a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old girl has been found not guilty. Justice Neil Robertson dismissed all the charges against Jeffrey Dumba, saying he took issue with the reliability of the complainant. The judge says he found the complainant, who cannot be identified, had sought out the teacher and lied about her age. Dumba had been accused of luring, sexual exploitation, and making sexually explicit material available to a person under age 16. Regina police arrested 2 suspects after a robbery on Garnet Street early yesterday morning. The victim reported being threatened with a weapon before their bike was stolen. Police later located a male and female matching the suspect descriptions on Montague Street. Officers recovered a collapsible baton during the search. A 34-year-old man and a 24-year-old woman were charged with robbery and additional offenses. Both made their first court appearance yesterday afternoon. Mediation in the Canada Post strike has been temporarily suspended. Federal Labour Minister Stephen McKinnon says federal mediation to end the nearly 2-week-old strike isn't working, as both sides are still too far apart on critical issues. He says he'll be telling the two sides that they alone are responsible for the consequences of the job action. About 55,000 striking workers have been calling for better wages and better working conditions, which Canada Post insists will add heavy costs and create inflexibility in the postal service. Donald Trump's cabinet picks have become targets of bomb threats and swatting attacks.
President-elect Donald Trump's transition team says several of his cabinet nominees and administration appointees were targeted in what they call violent, un-American threats to their lives and those who live with them. The FBI says it's aware of numerous bomb threats and swatting incidents and are working with law enforcement partners. Among those targeted, Trump's pick for the next UN ambassador, New York Representative Elise Stefanik. Her office says a bomb threat was called into her home when her family was out. And in Florida, police say a bomb threat was made to a home where a family member of former Congressman Matt Gaetz lives. I'm Julie Walker.
And a new Netflix documentary has put the 1996 murder of 6-year-old JonBenet Ramsey in Boulder, Colorado, back into the spotlight.
28 years after JonBenet Ramsey was murdered, at times it has seemed the case will never be solved. But Boulder Police Chief Stephen Redfern says his detectives are actively working on it, utilizing new technology to try to figure out who killed JonBenet, including teaming up with
several outside forensic labs and DNA experts to evaluate the latest advancements in technology.
He says the goal is to identify JonBenet's killer. Alex Stone, EBC News.
That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
The Gleaner S98 is the culmination of a century of unique design and performance, adding more harvest performance through operator comfort, new technology, and simplified serviceability. The Gleaner S98 is a combine designed to propel your business forward. Gleaner's simple design drastically reduces compaction and increases fuel savings. Learn more about the Gleaner S98 at Nick's Service in Emerald Park or visit them online at nickservice.com.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when Uh-oh.
There are some things that can get spoiled. A sunny day, maybe.
Aw, and no umbrella or anything.
And then there's Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, where they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features. With such a wide selection and so many great plans, nothing can spoil it.
Yay, rain!
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, brought to you by Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and for Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service. For all electrical needs, croftelectric.com and all socials. Now here's Precision Weather meteorologist Steve Adamson.
Our temperature pattern continues to remain unseasonably cold as we work into the latter part of the week. No signs of any warming, but also no signs of any significant storm systems heading in our direction either. Tonight, any leftover flurries ending early, cloudiness thinning out to partly cloudy conditions, the low temperature down around minus 23. Thursday, a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover, with temperatures staying quite cold, the high near minus 19. Thursday night, partly cloudy skies and low temperatures well below the typical range for late November, dropping down to minus 31. Friday, mostly sunny skies with unseasonably cold conditions, the high temperature near minus 22. Saturday, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures remain quite cold, the high near minus 18. Sunday, a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover, continued unseasonably cold with the high around minus 20. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather Meteorologist Steve Adamson.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is minus 16, Swift Current minus 11, Assiniboia minus 9, Broadview Moosomin minus 13, Yorkton Melville minus 11, Estevan minus 9, and Weyburn is minus 9. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's cloudy. Winds are from the northwest at 19, gusting to 38, and it's minus 11. Regina is also cloudy. Winds are from the northwest at 17, gusting to 36, and it's minus 12. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Croft Electric. You've probably heard of us because we've been around for over 27 years. We do commercial and residential work? Yes. We do permanent holiday lighting? Yes. We do cabins? Yes. And farms? Yes and yes. We're an authorized Generac generator dealer. We are a full-service electrical company with the experience and the people to service all of your electrical needs. We are Croft Electric. We will be here when you need us. Do it right, do it once. Follow us on all social and call 306-586-1333 to book.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rmpchevrolet.com today. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
One more hour of the show here live from Agribition. Barney Shinkaruk, Ryan Pollock, Farhan Lalji is going to join us in a bit. A lot still to get to. It's Wednesday. If you're going to the free rodeo tonight, they say it's going to fill up in about 11 minutes. So you got to get here quick. If not, if you're just going to watch a plethora of hockey games, it's Wing Wednesday at the Canadian Brew House, only 69 cents each, a mountain of flavors. Flavor of the month, ask them what that is. Do your wing thing every Wednesday at the Canadian Brew House. In the area, we talked about hockey, SJ. We got Notre Dame playing host to Humboldt. WHL, everything is out west. AAA, U18, midget hockey. Pat Caesar in Yorkton to take on Yorkton Moose Jaw and the Blazers up in Saskatoon, Contacts in Prince Albert, and then the Prairie Junior Hockey League. Prairie Store making the trek into Assiniboia for a 7:30 puck drop. KRP And also we got to mention Jackson Somback from the U of R Rams signing with the Calgary Stampeders today. Great news. We're going to talk CFL when Farhan comes on, obviously about VA and what he knew and what he knows about other quarterbacks. But the other thing that we're having fun with here, we're at Agribition and trade shows. Like it is, if you want to come do the cattle thing, unbelievable. You got the rodeo thing, unbelievable. You want to see farm machinery, unbelievable. And then the trade show, just rinks and just massive, everything you need. I just went for a bathroom break and I walked through the little hallway there, and we have back massager. Okay. All auto. Yeah. There's a number of them. Back massager, right beside back massager, we have shower head. And I looked away because that's something that I would buy, a nice powerful shower head, Kramer style, the Commando 550 or whatever it was. Used to clean elephants in the circus.
Right.
Great episode. Then beside that, there was candy. Then orthopedics. You need some sort of orthopedics. And then it really threw me for a loop. Dog rescue.
Oh, yeah. I saw those coming in. I had a little peek at them there.
I was
coming
like,
in through, yeah.
Once I looked, and they're taking donations. It's a great cause and all that. But I'm like, imagine coming home with a dog.
Well, you can see the tides turning. The shifts are changing, if you will, from what's coming by. You can tell it's 5 o'clock. School's out. People that have been working all day. You can see families starting to roll in a little bit more. People that have been around the afternoon, shopping and checking things out.
Mm-hmm.
They're making purchasing decisions. They're on their way out. They've decided what they're taking home.
Closers.
And
there's the guys in the booth and girls. And 6 o'clock. If that shift ends at 6 o'clock, it's close time. What did we see? Tree trimmer?
Well, first of all, we saw the 8-foot tree trimmer roll by, carrying the massive box coming on by, and right on time, right after the segment there about all the purchases.
Better have a truck.
Or
a big van.
Not getting home in an Uber.
Yeah.
Then we saw a couple massagers come by, and the smaller box, I had a little peek. That was a foot massager.
That's the guy over here. If you want, I can introduce you.
Oh,
he's just down the hallway. But then the other guy, whatever the massage contraption was he that? Was that full chair?
Full chair. The chair that goes on a chair. Perfect.
Is that compatible? Can you run that in your vehicle? Like if that long trips. I know Scott Forrest was just by. Where's his son's home from Miles City. He's driving to Saskatoon right now after putting in 8 hours standing up at Agribition for 2 days straight. Now he's going to drive to Saskatoon. A massage little chair thing.
Well, my truck has a normal plug in it. I don't see why it wouldn't work. Plug that baby in, stick it on the driver's seat, and
we've been talking about and some of the other things. If you're just tuning in, there was the pots and pans cooking thing we talked about just before 5. That was way too expensive, but just how they did the presentation and the display, and the guy had the microphone like we're wearing here. If you remember anyone that worked at Bootlegger, they always walked around with the mic, and it was important. And it's like, no, I might need those pots. I have no money to my name, but I might need them. Then there was the knives. Everyone, you got to have that knife that can cut through everything.
Yeah. For sure.
Look at it. It cuts through. It cut leather. It cut a lemon, and then right into a pineapple.
Yeah. Pop can. I don't know how often I'm cutting pop cans, but
back in the day we used to a little bit more. Rubber, and then the rubber broom mop. That's where I started all this, because I know exactly where it is in our closet. It's behind mini wheats. There'd be other things in there, and we never have used it. 17 years. I think we've used it once or twice.
Are we talking the fold-up one that you pull up on the handle?
No. My family's listening. Can someone go into that stupid closet and take a picture of that broom mop thing and send it to me?
And any other various purchases that may be in there under storage were bad decisions.
The problem is when Mrs. S rolls into these things, if there is any kind of custom-made holiday season, that's where that craft sale that was on last week, anything like that, or any kind of cooking, spices, butters, margarine, game over.
Yeah.
Not waiting until 6. Like she'll buy it at 10 in the morning.
my weakness is cured meats when I come through. I'm all over it. You throw me a nice sausage or some good beef jerky. I'm in.
Smoker beef jerky, or how do you make your beef jerky?
Oh, I don't make it.
Oh,
I just eat it.
Oh, my wife makes it. It's unbelievable. Okay, so also the Memorial Cup 2026. We thought it was going to be Medhat.
Yeah.
Then I thought maybe Spokane. Lethbridge. I didn't think Brandon was in the running. And then Kelowna, I just thought, Kelowna, they've had it. They are right now where they sit. Are they going to be that good next year? Because that plays into it. And it was awarded to the Kelowna Rockets.
Yeah, it's a big change. I can't sit here and say that I know Kelowna's roster inside and out, and maybe maybe they feel they have a strength of a good core coming back that'll be a year older and be able to carry some of the load. But it appears that it'd be a big step for them for sure. But we talked earlier about how great the organization is, and obviously knowing the town and how great of a location it is for teams to be able to go there as part of this event. But yeah, a little bit of an interesting one when we really factor in the Medicine Hat perspective of it, and the wagon that they have right now, and the ability or opportunity that they could have next year to return the majority of that team, and including one Gavin McKenna, that they would look like a front runner for it for sure.
The rumor that I've heard twice just in the hockey world now is if Medicine Hat wasn't to get this Memorial Cup. See, with Gavin McKenna, his a late birth date. So his draft year isn't this it's next. The kid's like leading the WHL. So next year, he obviously comes back. There's records to be broken and all that. But the rumor now is if Medicine Hat wasn't going to get the Mem Cup, he might shift to the NCAA. And, you brought up the NIL money. Is it available to Canadians? Is there some loophole there? Is there something that's going to happen? But now you think about it, this kid was putting up these numbers, probably represented by Newport or whatever the big outfits are. Does he shift? Does he go to one of the big schools down there, the North Dakota hockey schools, North Dakotas, the Denvers, the Michigan, anything Boston area, Northeastern, and forego the Western Hockey League to do that? And then what happens with a Ryder Ritchie in Medicine Hat as well?
Yeah, these are these unknown dominoes still going on with this, the NCAA and Western Hockey or Canadian Hockey League, eligibility change. So, again, I said it earlier, I don't quite buy into it, but there's elements there that make absolute sense. And if he feels like he's kind of been there, done that, I would assume he's going to play a big part in the World Junior team this year, going for Canada there. And, if he goes and has success there, and obviously could have the opportunity to go play in the NCAA and play against typically kids that are 20 to 23, 24 years old, and see a little bit different level of competition and face some different challenges, and still have the ability to go back and play World Juniors again.
Yeah.
There's some elements to it that would make sense. There's some other pieces that don't quite add up for me, but it'll be an interesting scenario and something to definitely watch. And like you say, if a big fish like that ends up going, how does that change the perspective of some of these high end guys?
But to your point too, these kids still got to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
They got to take the SAT, which isn't that big of a deal, but they got to go through the NCAA clearinghouse. Do they have the right course? Then you have to go to school, keep up your grades. I know a lot of people, when we had Jamarcus Hardrick on, he said, I grinded at community college before going to getting into university. And we had to grind and keep up our grades. And maybe it is different for a high end, quarterback at Alabama or something like that, but there's still the school aspect of all this. And then do kids go too young and then realize this isn't for me? Can they come back?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen that yet, obviously, with how quick this changes, but another great scenario in this. And if a player does go down to let's call it Boston College, he goes down to and he gets to Christmas time and says, this isn't quite for me.
Yeah.
I'd rather, I don't like this or that, and I want to go back to junior. Can he just pack up his dorm room and leave? So again, a lot of these kids, very, very smart, very mature kids playing major junior hockey, but just another element to it that needs to be considered, that there is this school side of it. And the NCAA clearinghouse isn't just a checkbox. You've got to carry the right core credits and have the right grades through high school. And then you got to be willing to go to a university and actually attend class and remain eligible, carry a GPA. And again, you got to be motivated to go and play the NCAA to be part of that schooling side too.
It's going to be interesting, and you're tied into bantam hockey, and as we go in and you coach junior, how school becomes more prevalent in the life of some of these hockey players going forward, where they're like, well, it's hockey. We talked about Maddox Schultz, who is an unbelievable kid and very mature for his age, and he's going to have everything buttoned up at whatever level he wants to go to. Maybe some of these borderline kids where it's like, well, I kind of like me, like sloughed off through grade 11 and 12, just loved playing sports. But now it's like, no, you got to, and that's where I think the Western Hockey League does such a great job with their schooling and how these kids are schooled.
Yeah, I agree. I think there'll be some adjustments made at the Western Hockey League level now that this is an option for these players, and ensuring that they align with the NCAA clearinghouse and take in the right classes. But for sure, they've put education as a priority and opportunity for them. But in reality is, we're all younger guys, and when we were athletes back in the day, hockey always came first, and then it was school. Mm-hmm. So now that mentality has to shift a little bit, and ensuring that you're keeping up that side so you don't close any doors when you're going through that Western Hockey League opportunity.
The Regina Pats also made another trade today, sending Cole Temple, 2007 born, to the Everett Silvertips in exchange for 2007 born Julian Mays. So an interesting trade there. Mays, 19 points, 6 goals, 13 assists in 21 games for the Silvertips, who are an absolute wagon. He's 5'8" and 165 pounds, from Edmonton, Alberta. So Temple, great player for the Regina Pats. Alan Miller made the move. Not sure why or how, what all goes into this, but that was done today too. So Regina Pat fans, heads up on that. We are waiting for Farhan Lalji. Oh, we got him. All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to be joined and talk CFL football with Farhan Lalji from TSN. We're live at Agribition, streaming at sportscage.com.
Farmers, grain, poultry, cattle, barn, house, and more, a generator is a necessity. Whether you need to keep operating during an outage, keep water bowls from freezing, grain drying during winter, or need power at a remote location, you need a generator from Shorty Generators. Now is the season to buy or service your generator on the farm to be sure you always have power when and where you need it. And Shorty services all makes and models, including PTO generators. Come by and see them at Agribition this year at booth 1004, shortygenerators.ca. Your friends at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea have exactly what you need this fall. From muzzle loaders, rifles to shotguns, you are totally covered this hunting season. Plus, browse through their great selection of ammunition, optics, calls, trail cams, scents, knives, and more. The hunting store that has it all. At Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. You have a friend in the game. Main Street, Avonlea, or check out prairieguntraders.ca.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals is on until December 7th at Prairieland Rental. Get deals on select Husqvarna items, including snowblowers with up to $400 off. Shop Shop where the contractors shop, and you know you're dealing with local experts. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They appreciate your local business, and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. The Husqvarna Season of Savings deals until December 7th. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielandrental.com.
Well, howdy, y'all. Wood Country Woody here. You ever been kissed by your mother-in-law? Brr, nothing chillier than that, except your house when the wind's out of the northwest. Fret not, my friend. It's John's Manville Insulation to the rescue from Wood Country. Insulation so good, even your mom-in-law will thaw a little. Get toasty. Save money. John's Manville Insulation from Wood Country.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale. Wood-country.com.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Slugging it, hurting my back. Good time, Ryan. Barney Shinkaruk and Ryan Pollock. All-new Sports Cage live from Agribition. We're here tomorrow as well. Could have some rodeo tickets tomorrow for Thursday night. Heads up on that. We're joined with Farhan Lalji. There he is from TSN joining us today. All right, Farhan, the Vernon Adams to Calgary move. Let's be honest, that didn't surprise you.
Wait. You're bearing the lead here. I'm talking to Ryan Pollock. Ryan Pollock is a big deal.
Well, depends what circles you run in.
Dude, you just thought you'd slide that in all the times I've done this show, and I get Dave and all these. Like, this is Ryan Pollock. Even my daughter's excited. She's here. She's shaking my camera. She's all excited when she heard the name.
When he said he was live at Agribition, I said, there's no chance I'm missing this.
How are you, buddy?
Fantastic. Nice to chat with you.
Good to hear your voice.
Yep. Carry on, or
you guys?
He's thinking like, not this guy again.
What have you been up to? How are things going? What are you buying at the trade show? No. What the VA to Calgary? Is that what you expected, Farhan?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they were the one team that had the biggest need. I think everybody else was intrigued. You know, I think there were 3 or 4 teams out there, but for whatever reason, they wanted to stay with their guy. You know, I know that in Saskatchewan, I got a lot of feedback from Rider fans that were incredulous the Riders weren't more interested. And not that people don't like Trevor Harris, but Trevor's 39. And even though Trevor thinks that he's going to play for 3 or 4 or 5 more years, I'm not sure everybody else there thinks that that's going to happen. So I think there were some people in Saskatchewan that thought they should be bigger. You know, in Edmonton, you've kind of got a bit of a pull towards Trey Ford, but, you know, there are some other people that think that Vernon could have given them more success immediately. Especially if a guy like Jordan McSimic is calling the plays. So, but in the end, I mean, Calgary had the biggest need. They made it pretty clear in season when they first benched Jake Mayer that they were going to have to upgrade at the position in the offseason, and they went after him early. They were aggressive with it and got it done.
BC just kind of shuffled the deck there in their front office. Obviously, made some changes at the coaching level and changed the GM. But how much of this do you think started to build, possibly even immediately after the Rourke signing, that Calgary could have possibly started showing some interest and kind of laid the foundation, because it seemed to come together pretty quick, with the offseason kind of officially getting here just within the last couple of weeks?
Oh, I think that was in their mind right away, right? And in fact, that, I know there were some teams that right then when Rourke came back did make some exploratory calls, and Calgary was one of them, right? So it makes sense, on so many levels, right? I think Calgary needed to improve its quarterback room, period. Even if Jake Mayer had played the way they wanted him to play, because when you look behind him, there were just no options to even push Jake. So, I think they made a decision probably midway through the year that this was about as far as they were going to go. And, they'd ride it out given the circumstances, but that they would try to get him. And, look, I've known those guys. I know you do too, Ryan. It's no secret that they're pretty enamored with Vernon, have been for a while, and he's had success against them.
Were you surprised at all, or did you feel the value kind of landed where you expected it to be? I mean, arguably a first-round pick. They call it a second round, 9th overall in a 9-team league, but do you feel that that's kind of where the value slotted in, and then some exchanging of later round picks?
Yeah, look, I think there was a time later in the year when I really thought it might go the other way, that there might be more suitors and people might get more aggressive. But then all of the sudden, the last 5 or 6 games, Bo Levi Mitchell found his game in Hamilton. And, Trevor Harris came back from injury and was able to play the game at a high level immediately, right? And Edmonton kind of went through its ups and downs. So when it first happened, I thought there would be, a feeding frenzy, for lack of a better description. And I thought that it would be a first round and some, right? Like maybe a first rounder and a starter somewhere else. And, but as we got to the end of the season and we got to Grey Cup and had a sense of the fact that there was some change in some of those markets, and even in Edmonton, I knew that whether it was Ed Hervey or Geroy Simon, that both those men had made a pitch for the job that included how they were going to handle Trey Ford. So, once we got to that point at the end of the season, it really seemed like there was only going to be one serious bidder, and that meant a first-round pick.
Where do you think Cody Fajardo is going to play football next year?
I think Cody Fajardo or Jake Mayer is going to back up Trey Ford. And backup is probably a strong word. I think they're going to compete with Trey Ford. And it is interesting because the narrative around Trey still is that we're not sure. And look at what just happened with Davis Alexander. And they've had 3 years of time with Alexander, much like Edmonton has had Trey Ford in the building for 3 years, and Trey has won more games and played more games than Davis has. But, Davis is seen, and I certainly view him this way, as the league's next young star. So I'm not surprised that Montreal just said, look, we're not letting you out of the building. And then, when you look at Trey, where does that leave him? I think there's still some people that believe that he hasn't earned the keys to the car yet, right? Where you are the guy. I think, Ed Hervey wants him to have to compete for the job. So I think guys like Mayer and guys like Fajardo make a lot of sense. I'm curious to see what the best spot is for Cody. And I do think it's Edmonton, but I'm not sure how much longer he wants to play. There had been some conversation that before last season began, he informed the Owls that he only wanted to play 2 more seasons, of which one is now done. So does he, in fact, just want to play 1 more year? And I don't believe anybody else in the league views Cody as a starter, right? I mean, he just won a Grey Cup 2 years ago. You need to run a certain offense if you want Cody to succeed, and Jason Moss did a really good job of doing that. But when you look at the way all the chairs in this game of musical chairs are lining up, I don't see Cody as a starter anywhere.
I don't know how well you know him. We were talking when we had Dave Thomas on in the first hour. Is Cody Fajardo built as, you know what, I will take a step back, I'll be here when you need me, play the young guy, or does he have that dog in him that he's going to want to play somewhere and maybe prove a point for 1, maybe 2 more years?
I think probably the latter, right? I mean, even he said at the end of the season, when the conversation got brought up at the end of your availabilities, he said that I don't know if it's the right thing to have 2 elite quarterbacks in the building, like on the same team. It doesn't always work. You can tell he wasn't necessarily buying that. So I don't believe if Cody Fajardo goes into any situation, he's going to settle for being the backup. I think he's going to do everything he can to show who he is and what he can do. And, the whole F you just watch 2 years ago, which was Montreal's mantra for the Grey Cup. I think that's who he is, right? And look, he's been counted out, right? Not a lot of people thought he was capable of winning a Grey Cup. Like, not a lot. So for him to do what he did, he had some success in Saskatchewan, and then for him to take it to the next level in Montreal, I think was really something that vindicated him, and he likes having that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective of it, because right now I feel like it's a little bit of a buyer's market. Like there's more of it quarterbacks available than there is jobs, or at least starting jobs. So in my mind, we may see more where some of these guys might not be getting offered top dollar, and you'll be going more with a, call it, you have a $700,000 budget for your quarterback stable, and you're going to break that up into a little bit more evenly, have a 1, but a 1A as well, contract wise, and go in and compete, and the best guy plays. That's the way I kind of view the landscape right now, and potentially even here in Saskatchewan, with where Trevor has proven himself to be capable, but at 39 they also have to have someone in the stable that can step in and play as well. So I'm not sure how much choice Cody's going to have. I think the way the chips are falling, he's going to have to go into a spot and earn his time.
You're right. And, think of where we were 12 months ago. because going into last offseason, there was so much questions around the position. I think the only team that probably felt really good at the quarterback position was maybe Calgary when they had Matthew Shills, right? Because he'd had a little bit of mileage, right? But now all of a sudden, this year, Bo Levi Mitchell reinvigorated his value. Trevor Harris is playing the game at a high level. Jeremiah Masoli's now healthy again. Nathan Rourke came back to the CFL. Davis Alexander emerged as a guy. So if you go from team to team to team, now this offseason, we could have 5 or 6 really good backups, guys that are considered high end, in those stables. So you're totally right, Ryan. Like, it is a buyer's market, but I don't think it's as wide open as you might think in terms of teams that want to bring a 1A and 1B. I think that happens in Edmonton. But look, I fully believe that Trevor Harris is going to get paid somewhere in the high 400,000s to go back to Saskatchewan. And that doesn't then leave room for a $225,000 backup with a bunch of playtime incentives, right? Whereas in Edmonton, you might be able to get Trey on a bridge deal. You probably will, because who else is going to give him the keys to the car? And then they might be able to create that situation. But I'm not convinced in any other market that that's going to happen. Even in Hamilton, they got to find their next guy. They like Taylor Powell, but Bo's still going to get paid in the high 300s, right? So I don't know that there's going to be that many situations where you can walk into a camp and be competitive immediately. And so when I mentioned right off the top that it's Fajardo or Mayer, right? Fajardo might be better served if he only wants to play a couple of years to go with a Trey Ford. But if you're Mayer, you may want to find the long-term spot, which might be a Saskatchewan. It might be a Winnipeg, where you can go in there, be comfortable as a backup for a minute, right? But know that guy's getting older and you can reestablish your value and become a guy.
Are we automatic that Bo Levi Mitchell stays and then plays in Hamilton?
Very, very likely. Like, that would have to fall apart. And I know that Bo's not looking to hit a home run, right? My understanding is he's trying to get a lot of what was playtime incentives built into hard money for the coming year, as opposed to all of a sudden getting back into the 500,000 range. I know he's not trying to do that. So I do believe that there is mutual or common ground there, and that Scott Milanovich wants him back. And I think there's a lot of optimism around that situation, that it'll get done, much like there is in Saskatchewan with Trevor.
Can we shift? Can we ask you some hockey? Can we shift to the Canucks for a bit?
Sure, let's do it.
We were talking earlier, and I'm getting this Four Nations Cup and all this talk, and rosters are released next week. It may be a tough one because I didn't give you a heads up on this. How many Vancouver Canucks could be playing in this thing? And is that beneficial for these teams that aren't sending 3, 4, maybe even some cases 5 guys to play in this?
Oh boy, I think there could be 5 or 6 Canucks that play in it, right? I mean, when you look at the American roster, I think there's Hughes, JT Miller, Thatcher Demko, if he's fully healthy, Brock Besser. I think all of those guys are going to be in the conversation for the U.S. I don't know that they've Pettersson in Sweden for sure. Fortunately for the Canucks, that there's not going to be a Latvian team, because you'd get Bluger and some of these other guys there. But yeah, I think there's a legitimate chance that 5 Canucks will end up going to it. And quite frankly, if you look at where things turned for the Canucks last year, it was at the All-Star break. And not that you're overly taxed at an All-Star break, but you certainly are giving up the opportunity to go rest for a while, right? And the Four Nations will take longer than the All-Star break. So if that many Canucks are there playing prominent roles for their respective teams, I don't think it's a good thing for the Canucks. And I think every team would probably tell you the same thing if they had a glut of players off of their rosters that could certainly use a rest at that point in the season.
We were making jokes earlier about this, that everyone that's not picked is going to be just running to Cabo for the time
right
off. But do you know, in all seriousness, when the event's on, are they off? Is it a jailbreak for all teams, in the sense that the building's essentially empty? You're on your choice how you want to spend that time?
Yeah. There is, in the collective bargaining agreement, there's a certain amount of time that you have to give where there's nothing. And then, you will get, like in an Olympic break, you do get players that come back a week before the season starts, and they begin the process, even if some of their teammates are overseas playing in the Olympics. But, that's a longer competition. But yeah, it is collectively bargained that they do have to take a certain amount of time where teams can't have them do anything. But, you know, so I would think some of these guys are going to take full advantage of a vacation for 5 or 6 days and get away if they can get it. Wouldn't you? Come on.
I know.
The ultimate load management, guys. That's load management right there, 101.
We got 40 centimeters of snow in the last week. We love it here right now.
Hey,
they're not going to Saskatchewan during their break. That's not happening.
No, for sure. Canucks specifically in that Pacific Division. How you feeling about that division? There's some. It's tight. It's good. There's 5, even 6 teams if you include Seattle that are in that playoff race, and in reality, probably 1 or potentially even 2 of them don't get in. So it seems like it's a ultra competitive division this year.
Yeah, you know, and the team that surprises me is Calgary, right? That they've been able to sustain it through 20 games. You know, when you look at Edmonton, they've stumbled and they haven't looked great in a lot of different areas, but we went through this movie last year. So we certainly know that with the 2 best players in the world, that they're going to wind up finding their game again and getting it all back. But, you know, with the Canucks sitting where they are right now, what's interesting is that all the adversity they didn't have a year ago, they're having now. You know, if you look at them, all their key players, other than Thatcher Demko late in the year, played 80-plus games, right? Like, they all got to play. This team was, you know, their PDO was off the charts. Their shooting percentage was off the charts last year. None of that is happening now. And Miller's out of the lineup, and Demko's out of the lineup, and Dakota Joshua was out of the lineup. There's so much of this that has happened, yet they're managing to tread water and stay above the playoff bar. So I think they're only going to get better, right? Whereas last year, you didn't know if they could sustain it. I think it's going to go in the opposite direction for them this year. Although even when Demko comes back, they've been getting pretty good goaltending with Lankinen. So that part of it hasn't necessarily hurt them. But, you know, Demko's still one of the best goaltenders in the world. But when Miller gets right, when Pettersson gets right, you know, when Besser just got back in the lineup after missing a couple of weeks, I think this team's got a ceiling.
And Demko trending to be back in the next week or 2, if I understand correctly. Is that what you're hearing out that way?
Yeah, he's on the trip, and most expect that he will play his first game on this current road trip. So there's 4 games to go on it, and I would imagine at some point early next week he'll get back in the lineup.
Right on. Farhan, well, thanks so much again for the insight. Let's see how the next week shapes up, especially CFL. I'm very curious on where some of these coaches that are getting interviewed, where they're going to land. So maybe by next week we'll have something like that. Stay safe. If you are coming to Saskatchewan, dress warm. Agribition's on. It's absolutely buzzing, but she is cold.
Yeah, we have 8 degrees in cloud today, so I think I'm okay. But thank you for giving me the chance to visit my buddy Ryan Pollock.
There you go.
Right on. Farhan Lalji from TSN joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Christmas is around the corner. Be the stud or the studette of your Christmas gift exchange. $25 gift card goes a long way from Western Pizza. We'll be right back. We're streaming live at sportscage.com, live from Agribition.
Sask Power is working to improve the power system in your area. In order to do their work safely, they need to shut the power off for customers in Regina, 100 block McIntyre Street North, Smith Street North, and 2400 block 5th Ave North from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on Thursday, November 28th, weather permitting. Again, the power will be out for 7 hours on Thursday, November 28th from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. for 100 block McIntyre Street North, Smith Street North, and 2400 block 5th Ave North. For updates on this outage, visit saskpower.com/outages.
The newest king of trucks in Saskatchewan is Southie Mainline Chrysler. Get up to $20,000 off MSRP on the Ram 1500, Dodge Durango, and Jeep Grand Cherokee. Plus, an additional bonus cash up to $2,500 on select models. Our remaining 2023s have up to $13,085 off. Just 30 minutes north of Regina. SouthieMainline.ca. Worth the drive every time. Guaranteed.
From the Sask Today newsroom, here's what's making news in Saskatchewan.
Canadian Western Agribition is taking place all week in the Real District with a huge trade show, big displays, and of course, beef and other livestock.
Sask Today's team of local journalists are on the ground in communities across Saskatchewan, focusing on local topics that matter to you. Visit and bookmark sasktoday.ca and sign up for our daily news digest. sasktoday.ca from Harvard Media, everywhere.
Get your equipment out of the rain and snow and under the roof of a new storage building from Olympic Buildings. Have a warm, dry place to work and keep everything out of the cold. Olympic Buildings. Buildings to meet your budget. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
Anytime you see something our listeners should know about, call or text us. 306-936-6262. Driven by Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. CapitalFordLincoln.com on 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
We really could just do the last, what do we got here, about 20-ish minutes, not even, just play-by-play of people walking out of here with purchases made at the Agribition trade show.
Another back massager chair went by us.
The big box, yeah.
And the gentleman shared that it was for the wife, but I don't think so. I think he's taking it for a spin as soon as he gets home. He's throwing on his new boots and trying the back massager.
Yeah, he had a smaller box, a real sharp-looking black box. So you see something you carry in that box, and there's something that's expensive in there, some sort of boots. So whoever's closing the back massagers here at Agribition, whatever, the old soccer center that we're in, they're doing a heck of a job here on Wednesday too. Probably got they're making their quota today for the rest of the week.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Late in the day, you've been walking around all day, a lot of concrete,
yeah.
right?
It's
prime for the picking. Like, how's the body feel after walking around?
That's why those hot tub guys, if you could sample those things too. When Agribition used to be in the swamp, used to be in the old exhibition stadium. I went the last year, and I'm glad I did, because that was something crazy in there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome over there. In fact, I was just telling my son a couple weeks ago, we kind of took the back way out of here and went past the old location, and I was pointing at him saying, this used to be a rink. And when Agribition used to be in there, we'd practice in here 3 days after Agribition. There'd still be straw in the walkway. You'd be having to walk over everything and getting on the ice, but yeah, it was wild. Tight confines in there, a little bit less space, and you were just right on top of each other.
Rodeo,
awesome.
Rodeo tonight is free. We're starting to see people funnel in that definitely look like they're maybe going to have a pint or two and then head to the rodeo. It is free tonight. Tomorrow there are tickets available. Friday, Saturday, unless you're a singleton, you probably ain't getting any tickets. It's going to be pretty busy in there. In hour two, you want to go back and listen to it. We talked to Matt Merritt from North Carolina, originally from Louisiana, North Carolina. Yeah. He is one of the world-class rodeo clowns. And rodeo clown is a tough one. What was it? Barrel man,
entertainer, sports entertainer.
Yeah, this is the guy. And if you've gone to bull riding events or rodeo, he's entertaining the crowd. And then when the bulls start firing out, he hops in the barrel, distracts the bull, lets the bullfighters get the rider safe, all that. And it was just really fascinating to talk to him about. He is an entertainer, and he's entertained. I would like to see a video of this. AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where the Cowboys play. He's entertained that entire place for a rodeo.
Yeah, that's massive size. What, 100,000 people?
Like the Brandt Center is going to feel like a bathroom,
right?
Compared to that,
right? I was enthralled with him saying all that stuff, the 190 plus shows or whatever he said, and only being home for 37 nights in his own bed throughout the year, and just amazing. And the amount of preparation that goes into it, and getting to places, and just meeting the host or announcer last night, and then going to go out and do an amazing show. And he's an entertaining guy. I mean, obviously he hops on and is a natural in front of the mic, and is entertaining and
pumps our tires, classic, right?
Which we always like. And then
and then you asked the great question, because in my questions I wanted to ask him, it said game notes or scouting the bulls, and you asked him, he's like, absolutely.
Yeah, getting to know if you show up at a location, and there's obviously tendencies that an animal will have generally, but is there any that kind of stand out, or he pre-scouts or gets notes on? And right away he named a couple of them that when he's on his tour, that he knows if they're on the show lineup, that he's got to keep his eyes open when they're coming out. And so yeah, an amazing thing, the amount of prep and everything that goes into the entertainment to the crowd's benefit for the night, and the safety of the riders as well.
Yeah, so if you are coming to the rodeo tomorrow, we're here live as well. We're going to have free tickets to tomorrow's if you're coming. There's a little teaser for you. We're back here. Eric Francis we had on earlier too. The Flames are in Detroit tonight. Canucks are in Pittsburgh. The Leafs in Florida. Jets at Kings. Sens at Sharks. Oilers do not play. And then locally around the area, Humboldt is in Notre Dame in the SJ. No WHL games close to us tonight. AAA style Patsies are in Yorkton. And then the Prairie Junior Hockey League, we got Prairie Storm traveling into Assiniboia. NHL, who's your NHL team? I don't even know this.
The Sharks.
Oh, yeah, you said the Sharks because of Joe Thornton.
Because of Jumbo Joe. Went up to the rafters on Saturday. Retired his jersey.
Tough years, right? A couple here at least. Macklin,
Celebrini looks legit. I'm hoping they don't win too many games and play themselves out of that McKenna DuPont time. It'd be nice to be able to land one of those guys in the next couple of years.
Did you watch DuPont when he was here?
I didn't. No, I didn't. But I've watched. I'm an at-home guy on the iPad and watching Western League games and watching him in Midget AAA the previous year and things like that. But he's the real deal. To be able to impact games from the back end like he does is pretty amazing.
This is extremely tough. But so DuPont's draft year is this year or next as well?
DuPont, so he's only 15 years old.
Yeah, he's an exception.
Yes.
So and McKenna's the year after. Yeah.
They might be the same draft, actually. Something we should probably look into. But
speaking of the Everett Silvertips, the Regina Pats sent Cole Temple to the Everett Silvertips today in exchange for Julian Mays, a couple of 2-7s exchanging there, and the Pats are embarking on their road trip as obviously Agribition's on, so they got the BC division this year. BC division's tough too.
Oh, yeah.
Teams are going out there and getting cooked.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough loop no matter where you go, hopping on the bus for 10, 12 days, whatever it is, and lots of hours and lots of different hotels in and out of rooms and all that. But that's a tough division to be able to go out to and play whatever it is, 6 road games in a row, 7 road games in a row. And a lot of times they'll swing into Alberta as well on the way out or on the way back. And that's a tough way to go, but we'll wish them the best. Go play hard and see what happens.
Tough on the coaches, tough on Gord Cochran. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of packing up dressing rooms and moving and resetting up dressing rooms and
getting laundry done.
They get spoiled a little bit when they come this way, those teams, because a lot of teams will use Regina or Moose Jaw as a center, and then they kind of will make their trip up to Saskatoon and back and go to Moose Jaw and back if they're using Regina, even Brandon, and kind of just keep a hotel and use the Brant as a practice facility between games. But some of those other places are pretty spread out to be able to go out west and be able to do that.
Let's take a quick break here. We're live at Agribition, streaming at sportscage.com, and as always on 620 CKRM.
Some people think you should keep your opinion to yourself, but not us. The 620 CKRM Daily Poll is your chance to have your say. From the biggest topic of the day to a lighthearted query, there's always something new. Brought to you by Action Roofing, proudly serving Regina and Saskatchewan for over 40 years. Call the roofing professionals at 306-545-4677. Let us know what you think. Head over to the 620 CKRM Daily Poll at 620CKRM.com.
You don't go to Country Thunder to see your favorite artist. You go to Country Thunder to see all your favorite artists. Country Thunder Saskatchewan returns with Def Leppard, Jason Aldean, Bailey Zimmerman, plus Nate Smith, Tyler Hubbard, Kip Moore, Tim Hicks, and so many more. Guarantee your spot. Country Thunder Saskatchewan, July 10th to 13th in Craven. Tickets at countrythunder.com.
Hi, this is Shannon Forrester with Floor Coverings International. People tell us our mobile flooring showroom and seamless service experience is an easier way to buy flooring. Our consultation takes place in your home, and from our on-time, on-budget installation to our final walkthrough, our team is with you until you're completely satisfied. Check out our Google reviews and see why we are the 5 stars of flooring. Don't let our name fool you. We are locally owned and operated. Visit floorcoveringsinternational.com today.
This is the sound of a bone breaking, and another hero bites it in the bathroom. This could have been avoided with a sleek, no-barrier shower or walk-in tub installed by Logic Bath Solutions. Now, cold sponge baths at the hospital from an overworked nurse.
Gentle.
Do this. Have Team Logic make your bathroom work for you now, or wear the cast for 6 months.
Why is it so itchy?
Call Vern at Logic Bath Solutions, 306-591-3591.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when... Uh-oh.
There are some things that can get spoiled. A sunny day, maybe.
Aw, and no umbrella or anything.
And then there's Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, where they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features. With such a wide selection and so many great plans, nothing can spoil it.
Yay, rain!
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
We're celebrating Black Friday at Crestview, and you do not want to miss these deals. 2024 Ram 1500s for as low as $169 a week plus tax. How about a 2024 Jeep Compass Sport for only $119 weekly plus tax? Grand Caravan's going for $147 a week plus tax, and this one comes with $1,000 holiday bonus cash in your pocket. Every new and used vehicle purchase comes with a special Black Friday mystery prize. It's Black Friday at Crestview. CrestviewChrysler.ca.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
Okay, you two comedians back at the shop, Curtis and Colson. It's time for our clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. My clutch performer I was going to give to all the bullfighters last night that were at that thing underneath the orange top. Wacko. What was going on there? Like, they're jumping, they're cartwheeling over bulls, teasing them. And then the other one I would give to Matt Merritt, who's going to be the rodeo clown, barrel man, entertainer over the next 4 days at the rodeo here. But which, Colson or Curtis, which one of you what was your clutch performer today?
Colson, and my clutch performer is all the salespeople closing those sales on the back massagers.
Go with that for sure.
Curtis, anything you want to chime in there, smart Alec?
You know what? My clutch performer of the day, you know what? It's going to be Colin Lovequist, actually. Because when I was trying to leave Agribition, there was a lot of traffic, and I was definitely not in the right lane that I needed to be in, and all of a sudden I saw the CKRM truck, and I was like, I'm going to cut that truck off. I'm gonna see if Colin's going to let me in, and lo and behold, there he was, coming in clutch. He saved me at least like 5 minutes. So like,
I liked yours, Colson. The closers, but we were joking with the one we possibly could be seeing some buyer remorse. Yeah. Guy brings something home, wife's like, nope, or vice versa. It's usually not vice versa. It's usually if a guy buys something, you take it home. It's like, no, take that back.
The way he was carrying that basket full of goods looked like he was looking for the locales of where he made some purchases that maybe wanted to go back and make some returns. So
it's exactly what it looked like. He had a map. He's like, okay,
we got one more big box coming by. Right,
we're gonna ask this guy live on radio what he bought here. That's about a 9-foot box. What did you buy there, sir? Can we ask you, sir?
Tailgate extender.
Sold, David. What did you buy? What did you buy there? Electrified gate. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Right. You drive through it won't spark on your truck. Yeah. That's a big box. David's giving us the play-by-play of his purchase. What an 8-foot box. Huge box. just purchased it here at Agribition.
Thank you for such riveting
Fantastic.
radio. Thank you.
Live. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. You're live on the radio. We needed to ask you what it was. It's such a large box you're carrying out. You got a bowl on it even as well. So thanks, David. There's so many things you can buy here at Agribition. Guys walking out, back massagers, brooms, mops, koozies with their names on it for the kids.
Yeah. New saddle, I see. They're selling saddles just over way here. So
what's a saddle run? That looks expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had to buy a saddle.
That'd be buyer take it home and see how fast the wife tells you to bring it back.
Car wouldn't even be turned off yet.
Thanks for coming today.
Anytime.
A lot of fun. As always, if you missed any of the program, you can go back, watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it in podcast form. Dave Thomas was for the first hour, talked obviously a lot of CFL there into hockey. Eric Francis in hour 2. Matt Merritt, rodeo clown entertainer bearer. That was a fantastic interview, very enlightening. And then we had Farhan Lalji in hour 3. We are back here tomorrow. Enjoy the rodeo if you're going to the rodeo. If not, we'll be back and we'll talk to you in about 21 of the good ones.
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News. No repeat performance appears to be in store for last year's warmest winter on record. The Weather Network's chief meteorologist Chris Scott says its seasonal forecasts suggest it'll be a colder and more impactful winter this year.
Well,